Hello and welcome to another Indie Game Spotlight. We have a treat for you today as we are joined by Ty and Jeremy from Bad Toad Games. Dean and I are going to be talking to them all about their game, Mercs, Mages and Monsters. Aren't we, Dean?
Yes, we are. Really looking forward to this. I don't know anything about the game, so I cannot wait to shine a spotlight on it and do a deep dive.
So, Ty, Jeremy, welcome to Indie Game Spotlight.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Fantastic. Now, I always ask the first question. And my first question today is going to be different to normal.
Ooh.
First question today is I want to know all about how you became known as Bad Toad Games, because that name is cool.
Originally,
go for it.
we weren't going to be Bad Toad Games. Originally, we were going to be Bent Twig.
Mm-hmm.
It's from a movie, old movie,
Heroes.
Almost Heroes. And we thought that was funny, so we were going to go with that. But believe it or not, that name is actually taken.
Bent Twig is that's incorporated. It's like Bent Twig Incorporated or something like that. A whole different thing. So we couldn't do that, unfortunately.
Yep. And so we ended up the game we were working on at a time had these frogs in it, and I don't know how the idea came about, but we ended up as Bad Toad.
I think the first art piece I did for it was like a little one of those hazard side triangles, and it had a toad with a like office worker's hand or something sticking out of the mouth. Yeah, and it was someone pointing at it like you would have scolded a dog, and it was like Bad Toad, bad. And I was like, this is perfect. And then, I mean, it's everything we have now is updated in that sense then, but that was the original stuff.
That's awesome. I love to hear some of these sort of origin stories. It's amazing. All of us indies, we all have sort of little stories from where our names come from. Mm-hmm. So I'm now going to go with my normal question, which is what inspired you to make Mercs, Mages and Monsters?
It was basically, we saw other people doing it. We were thinking we can do this. I don't see why we can't. And I think he actually came to me, and we had thrown the idea around a little bit before then. And he's like, no, let's just do it. And we're like, oh yeah, sure, let's do it. And he's like, all right, if we're going to do it, we're all in. Then we just started going from there and, throwing ideas together. Cause what was that? 2023 is I think when we actually registered it. Was it 23 when we registered it?
I think it was like February of 23.
I think we talked about it at like mid 22 and then actually with the business registration and everything, which is reasonably simple in the States. You fill out some paperwork and then they tax you. But
we know that one.
It's like, we want to be legitimate. Good, pay for it. So we did that, and and then we had Mercs in development for
a couple of years.
So 20,
yeah.
Small hiccups in between, but yet like 3 years, and then a bunch of ideas that are in a holding tank that weren't necessarily that. Yeah.
Excellent. So because both of you live in completely separate parts of the US, if the time zones are anything to go by.
Yes.
We're about 1,500? We're about 1,500 miles apart, I think.
We're close. Yeah, between 1,000 and 1,500 miles apart. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
How do you find that impacts your sort of game design, sort of working together? Is it early mornings, late nights?
So we bounced around during development and stuff like that. We'd try and link up our schedules as best we could, and on rare occasions we were able to get together. And there were a couple of times when we'd be like trying to get something worked out and we couldn't do it. And the verbiage for our combat system is probably the one that we go back to the most and bang our heads against the wall, because we had gone through like 8 or 9 iterations over the course of like a month and a half. And we're like, we need something that's cleaner. They came down to visit for the summer for a couple of days, and we were in the room for 10 minutes and we got it sorted. And it was
Yeah.
just like, really?
A real elegant solution, simple too.
Yeah.
Why don't we write it like this? And we did.
Yeah.
And it was, a month and a half to 2 months of just dead. Like we weren't making progress on it. And to solve it in 10 minutes,
Yeah.
it was
And,
euphoric, but extremely frustrating.
Yeah.
Might have been, but more time for beer drinking then when you're together.
We happened to be drinking at the time we solved it. So.
Which is how we came across our solution so quickly.
Yeah. We had to grease the gears.
And now we do, he just recently got the webcam actually. So now when we're doing our, working together and stuff like that, we throw on the camera. It makes everything moves a little bit better when we can see each other, I think.
Yeah. See the reactions, facial and everything to how bad the idea is. So.
Yep.
Yes, that's a really bad idea. So I'm going to ask you my favorite one, which always sends my camera absolutely mad because I wave my hands around and I can't help it. But if I was to ask you on this side, nice and simple, there my camera goes, and on this side, crunchy, whereabouts does Mercs, mages, and monsters come in?
I'd say we're right there in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of it, honestly, I think depends on the GM too. So we give our GMs a lot of latitude with how our rules are set up and stuff like that. So the GM can improvise. And, when we were first doing it, we taught our 70-year-old father to play, and he's never touched a TTRPG. And he was pro level inside of 10 minutes. So we're like, okay, so the rules are easy,
That's good. It's nice to hear. So I love rolling dice. Everyone who's ever spoken to me knows that I love their clickety-clack of math rocks. So what dice do you use in your system?
We roll with the 3d8s. That's the core resolution dice for the whole system, or 3d8s. It gave us a pretty good average. Like it's not real extreme. You got like a nice little bump in the middle, right around, I think 13 was the average and everything. So it gave the players, if you're right around there, like a 45-50% chance to have something go either right, wrong, and the swing wasn't real bad if it went sideways. We do use all the other standard dice, mainly for weapons, things like that, except for the D20. We actually were talking about it before the stream. There's only one instance where we use the D20, and it's just a effect for a specific creature. It's in there, the regal toad.
Yep.
The regal toad, and they get a D20.
Mm-hmm. The regal toad gets a D20 for one of his effects, and that's the only creature that has that, or where the D20 is used, because we remembered it was rare, but it's only that one instance.
Yep.
Excellent. So this is the bit now. I am going to ask you to talk us through the core mechanics of the game, and this is where you're going to see Dean making all of his notes. And this is where he starts delving. So go on, walk us through the core mechanics of Mercs, mages, and monsters.
You want me to run with it?
Oh yeah, run with it.
Okay, run with it. Okay, I saw the panic in his face as he thought it might be him. So with basically we have 7 traits that dictate what you're gonna be good at, the aptitudes and all that for that. So we have traits. And then knacks, or like the skills that go with that, and then talents. But basically, for traits, you have a number range between 8, and at the start of the game, it's 8 and 17 is like the max that you can attain at the beginning. It can't be over that, even with some of the mods. And you just have to roll under that for any of the interactions that you have throughout. Now, there will be modifiers from like -4 if you're unskilled with something, to +1. I want to say it's +1 or +2. I'm pretty sure it's +1 for if you know what you're doing. And then I'm trying to think.
It's essentially.
I mean, that's just simply what it is.
Yeah,
I don't want to sugarcoat it, but you just there's modifiers for how difficult it is or how skilled you are, and then there's your basic trait level, and you just have to roll under combat situation. You roll precision, which is our single combat trait. I know in D&D and stuff, you have dex and strength and things of that nature. We just have precision. Precision accounts for bows. Precision accounts for axes. Whatever it happens to be, precision is the combat trait. And you're just rolling against someone's precision, and then agility for dodge, I guess. Yep. Dodge and block, everything like that. No, block, I think, is actually under precision, but it's dodge and it's just dodge is the only one. But other than that, that's pretty much it. Everything wraps around that resolution mechanic. Roll under. The only time that most of the time a roll under should just be a success. Boom, you move on. Now, if you roll something and say whatever critter you're attacking or something, they have a precision of 16. We'll say 16, which is pretty good. We'll say they roll a 16 and you're going to block, and you also roll. You have a precision of 16, but you roll under, they roll under. Well, okay, so who wins? It depends on the success level, which is how far under that trait you've rolled. So say you've rolled under, we'll let the player win this time. Roll under, 3, and they rolled 2 under their 16. Well, you're going to win. And I believe we have it set to even if it was a case of 2, the defender wins. There's my cat, or the other side.
Yeah. That's lovely.
Say kitty cat.
Yeah, he may come over. He's making a move. But yeah, I would say that pretty much wraps it up, right, Ty?
Yeah, we got our success levels and our failure levels, and then that with the modifiers and stuff like that. It's the core mechanic of it's pretty easy.
We tried not to make it too complicated, and we went through a few iterations where it was, and that's when we had scope creep, because we initially decided easy game, and it kept creeping, and that wasn't great. So
we understand. Yeah. If it's too simple, you think I can add this, I can add that, I can add the other, and sometimes less is more.
Simple is less is more. Yeah, you just flex those. Instead of adding more, you just utilize what you have. Refine it and utilize what you have in creative ways, which is what we've tried to do with our stuff.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is, before we move on, I'm just going to make sure I understand how the mechanics work. So you've got 7 traits, and these are effectively, in other systems, they might be called attributes. Is that right? Okay. So precision, if you want to shoot someone or throw something at someone. Agility, if you're trying to dodge out the way of that. So your attack and defense is effectively an opposed roll.
Yes, opposed.
Yeah.
There it is.
And whoever gets the greater level of success, in other words, the more below what you need, they effectively win. What happens in a tie?
Defender wins.
Defender wins. Brilliant. Okay, so it's kind of you got to beat the defender rather than that makes perfect sense. And all the modifiers are applied to your trait. So if you've got a -4 and you've got a trait of 15, it now becomes an 11 you need on 3 dice. And then if it's an easy thing you're doing, that might up it by 2. You now need a 13, which is on average 50-50 chance of succeeding. While that all sounds very straightforward, I'm assuming as we go into this, there are going to be ways of modifying gear that affects your various traits. And you mentioned Nax. I'd love to start digging into Nax. Nax is your skill system, I'm guessing. So if you've got a knack at doing something, it means you get bonuses. So I think the core mechanics are pretty straightforward. I like it. I really do like it. Simple, easy to understand, and runs through everything, including combat, which is great. So there's nothing new for someone to learn if they're in combat compared to if they're just using skills outside of combat.
For social or outside, it's basically the same thing. The resolution is going to be the same.
Yeah, fantastic. Do we want to move on then to things like Nax? Could you talk us through how Nax works? Or
I wanted to ask,
Go
because
on.
you said there were 7 traits, and we've talked about precision and agility. What are the whole 7?
So
Yeah, go for
vigor,
it.
which is your that's your strength, your raw strength and your hit points, your natural defense, and that affects your maximum inventory slots.
Oh, nice.
Yep. Precision, as you said, that represents your overall offensive combat effectiveness. Agility is anything for nimbleness or dexterity, block, dodge. That's that. Cunning is the use of stealth, deception, or other nefarious actions. Observance governs your awareness, your ability to spot danger, thievery, or track things. Willpower is performing or resisting magic and magical charms.
Ooh,
So
we will be digging into magic later.
Yeah,
and
it also influences your leadership abilities and your inner strength. Okay.
No, I like that.
And then wit is your overall intelligence, and the ability to use that intelligence when it counts.
Yeah.
So
Lovely.
Excellent. Right. Sounds pretty good.
Now you can go on to knacks.
Yes. Okay. So how do knacks work?
So knacks are, like you said, there. Other systems probably call them abilities and stuff like that. But for us, knacks are things that anybody can do. Okay, so our knacks aren't, unless it's stated specifically for the knack,
Class locked. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not class locked. So a warrior and a mage could use the same knack. They could have the same one. And they're not, because we use knacks and then we use talents as well. Now, talents are our big ones that are class locked in certain cases, but our talents are smaller ones. A good example of some of these is like block is a knack. So, and our knacks have mastery levels from apprentice to master. So you got apprentice, journeyman, and master. Which impacts how good you are at it, and that's the modifier that we use for it too. So, but I mean, we have all kinds. Like one of my favorites is fumbling medic. It's the ability to provide basic medical care, including the application of first aid and the use of simple medical tools.
Outside of combat.
Outside of combat.
Yeah.
And that's you can't just nobody can just run up and heal somebody. You actually have to know what you're doing. Now, you can try in a pinch. You can be like, all right, let's get this going. And you could fail, and the person you're trying to save dies.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of have to, you want that knack to be able to help you. And that's what these are. They give you that baseline knowledge of, okay, hey, I know how to do this.
And when you have a knack, like we talked about earlier, the modifiers, like Ty just said it, anybody can attempt to heal. We don't want to hamstring people like, no, you can't do that unless it's magical. Then you really shouldn't do that, and you can't. But unless you want everyone to die. But with a knack, we'll use the fumbling medic. If you don't have that, you can attempt to heal somebody. It's a -4.
Yep.
Because you're untrained, and so you can't. And when you're trained as apprentice, you just get a +0 as the modifier. So it's not hurting your basic trait score. It's not improving it. You're just baseline, and then you approve from there. Yep. And then at journeyman, you would get +1,
and master +2.
+2.
Yep.
And that would govern that. But for any of the basic things, like he said, that one, or dodge, block, unarmed combat, search, persuasion, any of those are all knacks, just things people can kind of pick up and learn. And talents are more of something that's going to give you more punch, or more specialized rather.
Yeah. Okay. This all sounds pretty good. And for anybody who's probably questioning, well, +1 doesn't sound like much. I mean, -4 to 0 is a big shift, but 0 to +1, then to +2. The thing to bear in mind, you're rolling 3d8, and that creates a bell curve. So that +1 could actually be the difference of like 12 to 15% more chance of succeeding. Yeah. and that's what I find, what I like about your system is it's, and I think I've always found just rolling a d20 creates a very flat experience. And I admire systems where you start to use the averages, and the averages come to play because I think you get a more interesting dynamic. And as you become better, it's more consistently better, which is what you would expect someone who is trained and able to do something. They would consistently be succeeding compared to someone who isn't.
Well, yeah, and that's what we were looking for too. And like Vicky said, she likes the math rocks, and in this case, you get a nice bell curve, and you get to roll more math rocks. So the clickety clack gets really nice. So,
and I also like it because my main sort of adding up is actually from the math rock. Then there's a tiny bit of maths on the end. It's not like masses of maths. I like that.
Yeah, we didn't want to do masses of math. That's because you want to be able to do things quickly when you're at a table. So
and I was always taught never do math in public. So we
yes.
Oh, I love that. I'm so pleased you get visited by your cats whenever you're online as well.
This is a tradies.
Oh,
tradies. Oh, beautiful.
Yes.
I love this.
Hang on. I've got a George moving in. Hang on, George. He's now across my question, so I do apologize if I go off piste.
My cat appears to be the best behaved. He's actually sitting on camera over here on top of the couch.
I saw his little paws come around.
He came and he looked and he's like, oh, "Okay, you are." Oh yeah, Trades is all over it.
Yeah, this is my life now.
How many? I take it it's a little boy cat because little boy cats always climb on you for cuddles.
Yes.
Yeah, that's we call him Ushgush actually is because if we when you pet him and you Ushgush, he'll end up rolling over and he'll let you rub his belly and stuff.
Oh.
Adorable.
Oh, he knows he's gorgeous. Look at that. Yeah. He's a panther. Look at that face.
Yeah.
Oh. We've turned from an indie game stream to a cat appreciation and pet appreciation.
It'll get more views.
It will. Yeah. Hashtag cats. Yeah. And we will just launch. It will be like In fact, I've just made a note of the time so I can get a nice short of just cats.
Perfect. That's what I was.
Cats and dogs.
Yes. Yes. Anyway, so we've covered knacks here, and I take it. How many knacks do you have in the system?
You know what? We should have counted that.
We didn't count that.
I would say it is probably close to 40.
40.
Nice.
Wow.
So yeah. It's somewhere in the range 30 to 40. 40 would be the high end, but it's somewhere around there. Yeah.
It looks pretty close to our spell list as well, so I think it's close to 40.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. So that gives you so how do you get these knacks?
So initially, when you're creating your character, you get your first few. During character creation, you get a couple, and then as you go through and complete contracts, you get experience points, and then you buy them. Essentially, you spend your experience points to get these, or level up the knacks that you have. You could run around and buy 20 knacks if you wanted to, or you could be like, well, I like the 5 I have. I'm just going to be a master at these.
Yeah, and it's a scaling system with the knacks too. So, like you said, you buy them and you start with some. So, for instance, I was just there. What am I looking at? Warrior? Sure. So for the warrior, and if at any time I think Ty has it pulled up too. If any time you want us to share it so you guys can get a visual and look at some of this stuff, just let him know.
I'm happy if you want to pop it up, then feel free.
Let me pop the warrior up here. Is that share screen?
It's all right. Atreides will press all the buttons for you.
What? Yeah, there we go. Trying to figure out how to do it through here.
Well, while you're figuring, I'll just keep using my words. Hey, whoa, look at that. So yeah, for the warrior, like you get an assigned talent in this case, and we'll touch on talents later, as I think you guys will want to go that way. But the talent you can choose between the Mighty Cleave or the alternate would be Idiot Savant. which is you get a penalty to it, but you can use a really out of the box way to solve a problem, but then you take a penalty later, like something that should not work. But your wit has to be 8 or 10. It has to be very low in order to get that to work. It's like one of those fun stats in a game. But you start with the mighty cleave, as in this case the brigand, and you get an assigned knack, which would be intimidation for that specific class, and then you get to choose 3 out of those 6 there, and that kind of sets one. It gives you some variety with what you're playing for folks that are starting, and then 2, it allows you to kind of build your character the way you would like them, and then you get to do the same thing with weapons and everything, but it gives you a basic start blueprint for your character, and then you would just use the experience that you gain from completing the contracts and either save it up, or I think it's like 50 to get a knack, 100 to improve upon it to journeyman, and then 150 again to get it up from journeyman to master. So it's a scaling level, so you can't speed through it. You need to kind of focus. So you could be a jack of all trades, master of none situation, but still, better than some. I forget the tail end of that, but I know that one gets butchered. But or you could just specialize into something like assassin or tank, healer, the molds or archetypes that are in other systems, but we give some variety.
Yeah, I do like that picture as well on the other side of the page. As the arrows fell around him, Fenric wished he'd grabbed a bigger shield. That's just awesome. I love that.
Yeah. That is that. Do you know what that artwork reminds me? It's very similar. There's a computer game I play, Salt and Sanctuary, and it's very similar to the artwork in there, but it's beautiful. I love it. I love the black and white on it. That reminds me, the apprentice, journeyman, and master, is that influenced by Dungeon Master perchance?
I don't think so. No, we went through. There was I don't remember what it was before. I was thinking of what was it we were using before apprentice, journeyman, master, and then I
don't know, but it was 5 levels instead of 3, and we knocked it down to 3 to keep it simpler. And we're like, it was something. I forget what.
It's in the notes. We have the
somewhere back when we first did it, we wrote down. But we were just like, well, apprentice, journeyman, master.
It's great descriptions that absolutely sum up what level you're at.
Yeah, but I don't remember for sure what inspired or influenced it. It was because in here the game focuses around you're part of. I mean, it's Mercs, mages, monsters. So you're part of mercenary guilds, and guilds have the apprentice levels, which was the apprentice, journeyman, master, and the things. And so that eventually is what we ended up rolling into that. And we're like, it makes sense. It sounded good, and the math worked out. So two things came together.
Yeah, it's great symmetry across the board. Yeah. So that is, if I have a look, is this your sort of starting class? So I want to be a warrior, and I would choose to be a brigand, soldier, or town guard.
English hard.
Yeah, I was going to say the Brigandians. He was naming a German tribe, Brigandians.
I would select one of those from the class warrior, and that would set what I start with.
Yeah.
So I'm beginning to guess: are there levels, or is it about improving your knacks to advance your character? How does the advancement work?
So there's not like a defined level, this is a level whatever character. It's about getting your stats up there. I think we reference
Dark Heresy.
Yeah,
Dark Heresy second, like that's a D100 system, and then it's also roll under, and then I believe it's Symbarum handles it a little differently in theirs too, but specifically for Dark Heresy and those types of games there, You take it's not necessarily a level, but it's an experience base. So when they say, oh, well, you're facing enemies that are 6,300 experience or whatever, that's basically how you tell what level you're at. Now in here, we don't have it notated anywhere. Well, you're facing an enemy that's an equivalent level of 3,600 experience or whatever, because you're not, if you're playing this and you have 3,600 experience somewhere, you've been playing for a very long time. Because each contract, we recommend when someone completes a contract, they get 50 experience points. And then if the GM dictates that they've completed some task above and beyond, or went out of their way to, complete a bonus objective in the contract or something, then, throw them an extra 10 experience or something. So you get like 60, but 50 based on the skills and talents and what it costs and different things. It gave a pretty proportional leveling. So you didn't feel like you were just rushing through it and, you've speed run the system. So,
how many sessions would the average contract last?
It depends. You could have a single session contract. If you could do a one shot, you could have a contract that
could be 3 sessions, 4
could be
something
3
like
or
that.
4 sessions.
Yeah. And then in that case, you would obviously you would expand and give them more experience for it because it's a more complicated.
Yeah. So the XP is almost like the complexity of the contracts. If the contract's designed to go over 3 sessions, it could be that you get 100 or 150 XP.
Yeah, you could get 100, 150, and like he has over there.
Yeah.
And it really kind of depends. Like it goes back to what Ty said earlier. We leave it up to the GM a little bit, and it would depend on the GM or the table. It's just like some GMs or DMs. They're like, oh, well, you've completed this thing. You get to level up now, or milestone leveling or something like that. In this case, it's just, well, it was a harder contract. You had to, whack 2 lords and then make it look like it was this other lord, or you had to infiltrate a ball or do something, crazy. Because that's something that people will kind of have to adjust their mindset to. You're mercenaries. You're not an adventure. You are not the hero. You're not an adventuring party going out for the peace of the kingdom and all of this. Your guildmaster and everything says, okay, we've been paid a bag of gold. Your patron has deemed this contract, or you've picked up this contract somewhere, but mostly it's just going to be nobles, lords, and merchant princes, whatever, that are able to afford and pay for these things. And then you go out and you complete whatever that happens to be. And sure, you're going to help some people in the process because the kingdom's kind of in a flux, which we can talk about the lore and stuff later if you want. But the mindset's just different. It's not, you're not the hero. It's a grim light sort of a deal with humor. Everything that we have is wrapped in humor, as that one art piece earlier showed. We're not very serious people.
Yeah. It has a bit of the Warhammer Fantasy role play. It reminds me a lot of that, where you start off as a kind of almost a normal person and you're just trying to build yourself up. And
the rat catcher moving his way up to
absolutely to a the rat catcher to the tunnel troll. No, tunnel troll's right at the end. It's
something depending on how they go spec.
Which I've just had a look there. So you can spend XP on traits and knacks. I'm just having a look. So the advancement of your character is effectively where you want to spend your XP. So we've jumped a step here, and that is how do we set our traits to begin with? You said they're between 8 and 17 at the start of the game. Is that just randomized, or are there points you spend?
So we have 2 systems. We tried to come up with the 3rd system, which was similar to a 3d6 down the line kind of a thing, except it'd be like 3d8. But I played around with it, and Ty kept reeling me in, and we may end up with something. We may have something in the future that we add in, kind of like Richard Witters has like a few different little things. We might throw something in that's more of the standard 3d6, but we have the point buy method, which is just 20 trait points are distributed to the different traits. Gives you greater control, and that doesn't sound like a lot of trait points, but the lowest stat you can have through these 7 is 8.
Yep.
And so all of them, you're adding 20 points to that distributed over base 8 across the board.
Okay.
Of those 7 traits. And then the point spread, those are just the numbers that you have.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get to move them around anywhere that you would like. And then, and for those watching, you'll see those numbers look kind of small, but you keep in mind that when you roll, like we have a seven steps to build your character, which I think it's either before or after this page. I think it's after this page.
Yeah.
It is before. Okay. I don't even know where stuff is in our own book. But that's not counting your racial bonus, which you get like a +2 depending on what race you are to one of the 7 traits. And then you get an affinity bonus, which has nothing to do with your race, but it's more specific to that character.
Mm-hmm.
Like Dean could be someone that's, an ogre, but he's really good at art. So ogre we don't have ogres, it'd be orc, so he gets +2 to strength. But his affinity, he would roll and he could just get more strength, so he's an extra buff orc, or he's an orc that gets a buff to intelligence up to like +4. It's like a wild card bonus that you get at the beginning, which gives you, because a lot of this is simple, there's not a ton of classes, you get 3, and so people might feel hamstringed in, which that's on purpose to a point, because you don't want to give tons of options, like there are like 50 races and you're like, what am I going to do? But it gives variety to the characters and the people, because you could have the same race, same bonus stat, same everything else, but you get a completely different affinity trait every time, so they could be faster, stronger, smarter, more cunning, whatever it is that's out of. So you could end up with a goblin that's just, for whatever reason, buff. So like a Mike Tyson goblin somehow, and you're just like, I don't know how this is working, but he's out here just strangling people and just laying hits. So it's fun. It just gives a little air of whimsy to it, which is nice.
Yeah.
You mentioned races. I'm gonna ask you, what races have you actually got?
So we have was it 5?
Well, there's 5, yeah.
Yep. And so they're right there. We got humans, dwarves, elves, orcs, and goblins.
So you can.
Yeah, I know. You actually get to play the
goblins.
Yep.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Jack would not be not be happy. He'd be like, "No, you playing those are monsters. Those aren't playable races."
But this is your system, and this
I
is
know.
your world.
Other people doing it. It's like, yeah, other people doing different things. But when we were making that, it was fun because you get so much, especially with goblins and orcs. They can, especially using the inspiration of Warhammer orcs and everything going into it, or goblins. It's just, there's so much fun to be had potentially of how we have two characters that kept repeating in the little one shots and stuff we were doing during testing. And one of them has an art piece in here. The other one is not. He's just an annoying character, but he's super fun. Bibble, which is a goblin merchant.
Yep.
Who appears, and then Squeege, which is a dubious goblin. We'll call him a contract overseer, middleman for different proprietors of questionable intent, and he just finds himself always handing out contracts for people that might not be on the up and up. But for each of these, like Ty said, they each come with their own little blurb underneath that kind of give you basic flavor of what they are and who they are, and then they each get their little stat bonus.
I have to say, just from like as you've been going through the book, I love these little nuances. Like orcs are the large and heavy-handed folk of the realm. Books are beneath them. literally, it's under the table leg.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just fantastic. You had a piece in one of the other pages about common sense, and you've got some lovely little tidbits that are just, I have to say, endearing. It's really nice to read. I really like that.
That's how we've chosen to distribute the lore and stuff. So there's not one giant lore dump, except possibly in the beginning, where it kind of gives you the lay of the land, what's broken, what's not, what's happened, where are you at, why are you here, and what are you doing, like your purpose, and everything. I think we have some right after that. There's something that actually says the member's purpose if people get confused on what they're supposed to do. But it's all of it has that little bit of lore dump and comedy. So it's piecemeal, but as you go through it, you get an idea of the world, and it kind of helps the GM out, and it also makes the reading not as dry. Yeah, because there could be another quip or something in there. We
like to keep it fun, and every time we got halfway serious, we're like, it doesn't sound like us. Let's go back to being ridiculous.
Yeah. We got some of it a little more serious, so a little darker on some of them. We're like, and then it just wasn't fun to do anymore, so we reeled it back.
Yep.
I like that because you are actually injecting yourself into the game, your sense of humor, the way you like it to come across, and you're not going, right, we're writing it like this to fit a market. You're saying this is what we like. And that's what I like about it, because I think then you're being genuine to yourselves, which comes across in your writing. And I really do like that, because it gives it its very own flavor that cannot be picked up by any other game, because it is uniquely yours, because it's based on what you love.
Yeah, and so are the spelling errors.
You can tell us about spelling errors. We're just going through editing, and it's like, oh, look at that one. Oh, that's a good one.
We'll probably, like, it's out on Drive-Thru RPG right now. We've done I would say, like, a really good job going through it, but there's still some stuff that we're going to add to it before it hits, because we've actually had quite a few people ask, when is the print, the physical copy coming? And we hear them, but we want to make sure we get some of these other, like, included adventure, like contract module in there, and then a couple other fun little tidbits, and get them in there before that is a thing. So we feel like we're giving people an actual solid start. And don't feel like we're jipping them, and then nobody's happy there. We're not happy with what we delivered, and people aren't having the fun we want them to be able to have. So
there's absolutely nothing wrong with, and I'm a big believer, you have to take the time it takes for you to do the job that you're proud of. I can tell you now that Dean and I wanted to have our stuff out last year, but we weren't happy. It wasn't right. We've actually since then decided to do a basic edition and stuff. And you know what? You have to go with what you're happy with. And that will come through in your product. You'll be happy with it, and it will be better for it. So you're not going to get any criticism from you guys actually focusing on what you want to bring to the table. As absolutely really good to hear. We love it.
I'm glad to hear it.
Right. Can I pull it back to character creation?
I know, questions now.
I know we've derailed you.
Oh no, I like these. I love these.
I can derail myself at any point. Don't you worry.
Talents.
Oh, that's beautiful. Can I just see that on screen? I want to have a look at that.
That's a frying pan being thrown at someone, isn't it?
It is.
It looks like it. That's a spell called I cast Iron Pan.
Iron Pan.
It's the Iron Pan spell.
Nice.
It's the only verbal, it's the only verbal spell in the game. Everything else is sign language. That's the only verbal spell in the game.
Yep. But that's our character creation is right there too. That's our character creation steps right there for you.
Choose a guild name.
Yeah.
No, well, that will fail at the first hurdle. I remember every time we've tried to name a party, it's taken us forever.
Yeah. I like the fact the person running the game is called the guild master rather than the games master. I think that's great. And then race, class, and specialization. Yeah. Details, history, description. Then your affinity and your trait points. Yeah.
Mhm.
I saw the calculation for members' hit points and natural defense. If I
Mhm.
can just take a guess, hit points, when they reach 0, you die.
Oh yeah.
Yep. And
Yeah,
natural
you did.
defense, is that how much damage you can naturally reduce without armor?
Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
if you didn't have any armor on and you just were tanking it. That's how much
Yeah.
you would naturally be able to.
I also
shrug
noted you
off.
had armor with dice. Does that mean if you got armor, you roll the dice, and that's how
Mhm.
much you block? Brilliant.
Yep.
So it's dice versus dice.
Yeah.
Well, what if you roll under your natural defense?
Yeah. So if you
So-
roll, you go for
Go
it.
ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. If you roll under like natural defense, that's what's going on is your natural defense. You don't actually roll for natural defense. That's just what is soaked. So like a maximum, if your natural defense is 2, you'll shave off 2 damage right away. The only thing that would shift, because you've already failed an agility, a block, dodge roll. If you're rolling natural defense, you've already been hit.
Okay.
And then armor in that case, which you would roll, say you have light armor, so it's a 1d4. You roll that and you get a 1. Okay, your armor shaved off 1 damage, or it shaved off 4 damage.
Okay. And that's in addition to your natural defense.
Yeah,
So
so
natural,
it'd be like
natural,
2+1.
yeah. Natural defense is a static trait. It's calculated based off of your vigor.
Your
Yeah.
vigor.
So
Yeah.
when you're creating your stuff, your natural defense is a 2, and then when, like he said, when it comes time for combat, if they are doing 4 damage and your natural defense is 2, so you can eat 2, but your armor might soak up another 1, and then based off your roll, and then you're taking that 1 damage to your health. It's combat is volatile. It's we did it intentionally so that there is a very real risk in every encounter that you could die. And so you got to really think about it, like, is this
this
do
worth
I
it?
want to is this rock troll really worth it to me? Do I really want to fight this thing?
Can I sneak around? Can I do other things? Are there other options? Do I have to throw myself or a party member at this obstacle?
We wanted it to be that risk is real, so that you really have to decide, do I want to re-roll another character after I eat this?
And so the flexible armor rolls were more to add a layer of being more dynamic than having like a rigid, well, we have this armor, we have this, like that's flat, it's always going to soak this amount. And it's supposed to simulate the ups and downs of combat without. It was a really elegant solution to, well, they parry, they dodge, they do a super awesome double backflip, and this happens. We're like, okay, well, you did all that and your armor soaked 3 damage. Good job. Or they missed or just clipped you or whatever. It was just a simple solution, so we didn't have to think about it too much.
Fantastic. Right. Moving on to step 7. This is where you choose your starting knacks. All start at apprentice level and talents. And then if you've got spells from, I believe, the mage class.
Yeah.
I know we're gonna get there. Calm down.
I love my spells.
You get to choose those as well. So talents. How many talents do you start with?
Just one.
Just one talent. To
Just
start.
the one talent.
Yeah, you
And
just
then
get.
yeah. And then you got to buy talents with XP.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, the talents are the most expensive
costly.
thing out of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it possible to have a look at the talents, please?
It is indeed.
I'm like a kid at Christmas. Oh, talents.
I
Oh.
was going to say you could just click the talents on the right hand side.
I could. I like to tease a little bit.
Yeah,
As
no,
we go down.
this is
I'm
great,
just
'cause
seeing all of the. You know what I love? I love your page numbers where you've got your little bag of gold that you're earning because you're a member of the guild and you're going out and you've got contracts and you're earning your money and all your page numbers are on there. That's just so cute. I love
we
that.
were really blessed with the artists that we got to work with and chose to work with us.
We
just like nobody's coming out and being like, hey, you want to work with us? And they're like, yeah, we can do that. Like, great. Because we need artists.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I'm
finding good artists is when you find the ones that click with you, it's just a
Oh,
blessing.
yeah.
you keep hold of them. They're like gold dust. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do love the art style. I really do. And now having a look at some of the talents. I mean, you got one berserk. What does the V? Is that a V or
Vigor.
a W?
That's
Vigor.
that's a V. That's for vigor. It's if there's a number next to it, it just dictates that you have to have at least this level in that trait in order to get the talent. So
Okay.
it gatekeeps it a little bit.
Yeah.
So P, I take it is precision then.
Yes.
Yes.
There we go. See, I can figure this out.
Yes, and you got a cost, and it said member goes into a killing rage, foregoing their self-preservation, can attack twice in a round for 3 rounds, but will take double damage if hit. Nasty.
But
So,
Dean,
yeah.
Dean, we've been visited by another
Oh my
kitty
God.
cat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We have 5 cats.
So have we.
We have, yeah.
So this
Oh,
is
adorable.
this is
That's-
Yasker.
Yeah, I was
He's
gonna
the
say that
oldest
looked
cat
like
we have.
Yasker.
Yeah.
Aw.
He is named for The Witcher, Yasker the Bard, because he never shuts up.
Oh, we got a cat like that. Mews all the time. Middle
Yeah,
of the night.
Yeah, he'll talk at you, he'll yell at you. He is a big fan of waking the baby.
Oh,
And he'll do it on purpose because he'll wait till he's asleep and then he'll start going around and yapping at us. So
yeah,
he's a big softie though.
fantastic. I've seen the XP cost is 300 for all of them on this page. Does that mean every talent costs 300?
Yeah.
I believe I want to say that's
Yeah.
accurate. They're
Yeah, that
all
was-
they're all
someone
very
else brought
expensive.
that up.
So
But
the
yeah,
same,
they were like,
yeah,
yeah.
the same XP cost of taking a skill to apprentice, journeyman, and master.
Because talents have such a bigger like
Impact.
there's such a larger impact from our talents that if you want one, like you gotta
Fork over.
you're
the
gonna spend for it.
stuff.
You gotta
Yeah.
decide if it's really worth it to you.
Yeah, and you mentioned some talents are tied behind the class.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's the main ones that are tied behind a class. I want to say, well, maybe we misspoke. I think we did away with that.
We might have there because the one of the ones that was initially tied was Magecraft,
Yep.
and we talked about it, and we're like, well, you could get the talent, but if you get it, it doesn't mean that you're going to get those spells out of the gate like you would.
Magecraft is expensive. Looking at that, that's 1,000.
So
Ooh,
and,
so-
and yeah, and that's because magic in not to jump the gun going
Picking
into
on
magic.
us. Picking on us spellcasters.
So if you're a mage and you start off as a mage in any of the subclasses of mage or the specialties, you start with Magecraft. You don't have to pay for it. Because you're natural magic wielder. So, but we have it in here, and we also have another one called raw magic, where if the warrior was like, you know what, I want magic because I think it would be cool to not only beat them to death with my axe, but to throw a fireball at them while we're doing it. If they wanted to get to that point through Magecraft, it would cost them many sessions, and they would eventually get there. But if they take raw magic, it means that they can do it, but every spell they cast is at a -4, no matter what.
And that is
So bad when it comes to
so
magic.
bad.
Our magic in
Miscast table is not really forgiving.
in our world in Yogath, magic is deeply unforgiving. It is volatile. It is feared by people, and it has every reason to be, because if you do it wrong, bad things can happen.
Yeah, you're basically like people with higher willpower. The college, the schools, and stuff of magic. It's not exactly like the Jedi where they go and they find people, but if someone is talented or has a lot of willpower, that determines how well they can channel and complete magic and funnel that. Because if they lose control, lose something, well, either they're dead or their party's dead or something around is dead. And that's with anything. There's
Whoops.
when we get to it, there's when we talk about magic, we won't jump the gun, but we'll touch more on that later. I'll just leave it there. But there's other things.
I'm very much looking forward to that bit.
Yeah.
I can tell you.
We're very close to start talking about magic because there's just a couple more questions around characters. I like the talents. Great way of defining. Very difficult to buy, but from what I've seen, the system advancement is slow. It's methodical. You have a lot of joy, hopefully surviving your contracts, getting those bits of XP, some money, items, and then deciding where you go. You're right that the talents I've looked at here, some of them are really punchy, quite potent. How do you increase your hit points?
So if
short of the extended training and conditioning talent.
you don't. That's the thing why you get everything else better through stuff, because you're, how would I increase my hit points as a person? I don't. I have what I have.
What you would do is like your toughness. That would be like the only. Yeah. You take vigor, like if I don't want to get hurt, I'll work out. I'll do something strength and do some training, and I'm a little bit more resilient. My natural toughness increases, and then I can soak a little bit more damage, but my health isn't going up.
Yeah. And now, if you took the extended training and conditioning and you took it multiple times, and every time you raised your vigor, you could recalculate. I believe we have it in there. Your health is going to recalculate, but if I'm not mistaken, when you calculate your health, it involves rolling a dice. So you're taking it into your own hands where you're like, all right, I'm sitting at 10 health right now, and my vigor's gone up. Let me roll this, but
and it can be bad.
Now you have.
So you got to recalculate the whole thing. You don't just recalculate the vigor part.
If you're gonna do it. Because it's 1d10 plus half your vigor,
half your vigor,
rounded down, and so you're taking. You better be hoping 1d10 is going to be generous to you.
But if you rolled like a 2 or 3, it's a great way of you being able to re-roll that and potentially get more hit points.
That is the long game to do it. I think we have.
Yeah.
Or you've been working out and you've pulled something and lost a load of hit points.
And we have artificial ways to increase your hit points as well for temporary amounts of time, but it's temporary, and there's always a drawback.
There's drawbacks. There's a cost. There's always a opportunity cost, which in some games there weren't, that we saw, and we're like, man, we want to see that. We want to see that a little bit of opportunity cost, especially with ours. So there's a give and take, and you feel like it was worth it.
Yep. Yeah.
I have to say that just looking at this page, and I just can't pass by now without mentioning it. There's 2 that have really reached out to me and that I want. And I'm really sorry about this, but I do. The first one, Drunken Rage. Bought on from large quantities of either dwarven or goblin fungus mead. The drinker gains +3 damage to all melee attacks, but receives +3 damage from all sources for 1d4 turns. During the rage, all status effects are ignored. Once the rage has passed, the drinker suffers -3 wit for 1d6 hours. Well, that sounds like a hangover and a half, is all I can say.
Yeah, it's. I mean, you got to watch out for that fungus mead. I mean, it'll do stuff to you.
Yeah, especially the goblin stuff. Don't trust
check your sources, man.
And the other one that really. I'm sorry, Dean.
No, go.
I see you. You've never lost a game of I Spy, and you aren't about to start now.
Yeah.
Once per game day, you can use your skill to locate any object, person, or creature that may be hidden within view. That's just phenomenal. And what a great use of I Spy. I love that. That just called to me. That is brilliant, guys.
It's just, I don't know. It's laced with our own brand of nonsense.
Yeah.
which is where we think we thrive in that petri dish. So that's what we're going with.
No, but I love it because it's got a bit of tongue in cheek, but at the same time, it's really endearing, and I love that. It's brought a smile to my face. I'll let Dean get all serious now.
That's absolutely fine. I got one last question before we move on to spells, and that is
spells.
Yes. I've noted that only a couple of things have kind of limits. ICU is one of them, once per adventuring day, or once per game day. I take it, so if I've got Berserk, it lasts for 3 rounds. I can Berserk again at the end of those 3 rounds?
You could, if you were alive, yes.
Yes.
If you're alive, yeah. Yep. That's fine. Yeah. Of course, drunken rage. I got a drink. It lasts for D4 turns. And can I just ask the question? You probably have already picked up on this. You said rounds in one and turns in another. Are they 2 different things?
Oh.
Nope, that's actually one of those typos or miss.
That's absolutely. You're welcome.
Thank you. I'll make a note of that over here.
That's fine. So that should be one D4 rounds as well. So it lasts a D4 rounds. You then have this penalty -3 wit. What happens if I take another big drink to reactivate it?
The bone of the pain your character will suffer when it. I mean, you could do it again, but you're looking at a -3. Again,
is that twice? It's a -6.
Yeah, it's a compounding thing. Yeah. It's just gonna keep going, and then God forbid you got to make some sort of a
wit saving
check or something. And in one of those, I forget which one. No, maybe it's not one of these. There was one we might have taken it out where it you could attack allies. That might.
Oh yeah, that's a spell.
That's a spell. That's that one. Yeah, but if something goes wrong, you start attacking allies and stuff.
So I mean, you could take it over and over again, and that's why we have the cost in there too. So there's a penalty. So I mean, you could down more goblin fungus mead and
but how much fungus meat are you packing around? I mean,
shot
on you. Like,
but I mean, the consequences could be severe, especially because you never know when a wit check might hit you, and suddenly you're down 6 wit. That's
huge. That's huge.
Yeah, that's a massive amount.
You're looking at rolling like 1s and 2s on your dice. Anything higher,
and at that level, like the GM could call for. Like, hey, like heavy amounts of drinking. You got all this. You can't tell heads from tails. Your guy, depending on vigor, like they could pass out, could be unconscious. All this other stuff. They could be like, hey, do a wit check. Can you even tell your allies from your enemies anymore?
Yep. Yeah.
And you're like, well, I absolutely know who my friends are. Actually, I don't know who anyone is, but this big burly fellow in front of me deserves to take a whack. And then suddenly you're just beating on your teammate.
I like it. I do like it. So I think that's a great overview of how your characters are created and work, and how you level your characters. And you're right. It's the when you said your crunch was kind of in the middle. Yeah, I think you're spot on. There's enough here to keep you interested, not so much that you're overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So spells.
Oh yes.
Sure. So give the people what they want.
How does spellcasting work? I want to throw my spells. I want to throw that frying pan.
So spells we have 2 kinds, as you can read right there. But we have 2 classifications. You have combat and you have charm. And then within that you have what we call fire and forget, which is you just shoot it. It's 1 turn. There's no follow-up. And then where you have to concentrate on it, which you have to pass that check, that willpower check, every turn. And it gets harder each turn because you have to maintain that focus while you're doing it.
Can you focus on more? Can you sort of concentrate on more than 1 spell at a time?
Believe it or not, no one's ever asked that before. I don't think we have it in there where you can't do it, but if I was GMing it, I would make it so that your second spell you're trying to concentrate on.
Like even more of a handicap. You start off handicap trying to do it.
Start with a handicap.
Because considering you're casting spells with your hands, like throwing signs, kind of like in The Witcher when they do like the real basic ones, so hand signals, something like that. So if you're focusing on a spell using one hand to keep it going, you got one free hand. I mean, technically, yeah, you could dual cast it, but
I
your
still got
focus is
toes. I got toes. It's fine.
that's a whole new school of magic.
Yeah.
Foot magic,
I'll
that's
invent
like-
new schools of magic. That sounds just right for me.
Yeah, I was like, oh,
Right.
that's a
I
questionable
want toe
magic.
magic.
Yes.
Toe magic.
Not a true school. One of the community colleges of schools of magic.
Very popular amongst goblins. Foot magic.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Watch out for goblins.
Yeah, that's that's the basics of how it works though. For us, we we want the players to focus on one school of magic. They can, if they want multiple, they can go for multiple schools, but it costs more. As you can see there in that table too. The first school, everything's cheap. The second school, it gets costlier, and that third school,
Very costly.
learning that magic, it comes at a price.
It
No, I like
taxes
that.
you and everything. So the more that they expand their knowledge outside of like the basic stuff they're learning, the harder it is for them to maintain that safely.
That's cool. So here I am. I have just rolled up my mage.
Mm-hmm.
How many spells do I start off with?
So I
three,
can
I
actually
believe.
show you. I want to say it is. I want to say it's 3 of your choice. So here is your mage. So you start off with 2 apprentice spells, depending on how you go about it. You get a basic school spell. If you're a shaman, you get a basic school spell plus your 2 apprentice of the school of your choice. This one, you just get your 2 apprentice ones, and this one, you also get a basic and your 2 apprentice spells.
Excellent. But the battle mage, you also get a weapon, so you can smack someone
Indeed.
over the head with your club.
Yeah.
I like
Yep.
that.
Yep.
I like that. That's very nice. And leadership and intimidation. Ooh.
Yeah,
I quite like that.
You could and keep in mind you can only choose 3 of those. So you could do your apprentice, a weapon, and then you could choose leadership, intimidation, block, dodge, one of those. But you're going to have to make some changes, like building your character.
So obviously with the shaman and the academic, if you want your basic school spell, that's one of your choices.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So to get that one extra spell, you're giving up a choice. But then from an XP point of view, that might be the better route than trying to get apprentice in one of the knacks.
Yeah. There's everything has a cost to it, depending on how they want to do it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So this comes down to now. So I've got my 3 spells. How many times can I cast them? Please tell me that I'm not like poo poo poo.
No, it's I want to, if I remember right, it's not the Vancian school where you have like your slots and stuff. You can cast these to your heart's content.
As much as you want. Yep.
Yeah, as much as you want now. There's a caveat. Yeah. Keep in mind, each time you cast, there is a chance you're going to end up on the misfires and mishaps table.
Yep.
No. No, we always land our spells.
Excellent. Well done, you. You're one of those special mages. But
special.
so if you fail, like say you fail, you're like, and this can happen for anything. There's like the basic spells where they're just for fun, like the clean self, and they smell minty fresh or whatever it is. Basically a really lazy bathing spell from like Fantasia where he cleans up everything or just cleans himself. You do that, that mage could make himself smell minty fresh, fail it, and suddenly he's seeking medical attention. And so say you fail, and you fail,
like
and we have it set up. What was that?
That's not good. I don't like draining. 3 to 4 draining.
Yep.
So
It's
I
not
don't like
good.
fizzle. That's not good. And backfire. That sounds ouch.
Wild magic is actually the worst one. So
I was about to come on to that one.
Yep. So if you're, say you're going to cast a spell on this page, we'll just pick one from here and say you cast necrosis. You're like, I've got this. I'm a master. I'm gonna do this thing, and you roll the casts, and your willpower is 12, and you roll a
like 4 or 5 or something.
You roll a you fail completely. You roll a 20. Okay. So you're trying to get under, and you're like, oh no. Congratulations. Wild magic is happening.
Mm-hmm.
So let me just read this out. Let me read this out for everyone. The caster and those close and near to them are caught in an explosion of magic. Those near the caster may attempt an agility check to jump clear. Those that fail or are close take 1d8, 1d12, or 2d12 damage, scaling with the mastery level of the failed spell.
Mm-hmm.
So you could actually, if you're surrounded by bad guys, that could actually be fun.
Yes.
We in the play tests, or one that we did at the one of the cons I ran it here in Oregon last year or something like that, we had a guy that was like purposely trying to fail so he could throw himself into, for the one shot, he was trying to throw himself into the skeletons and then
I could see
purposely fail his willpower so he could detonate and kill the. I mean, he survived. We adjusted the damage in this
after that
because of that particular individual, because like that was really cool. I like the way you're thinking. I got to fix that. Because
the number of times we've done that because of play testing, and you find either you find your power gamers that find all the loopholes, stuff like that. It's the best way to find stuff.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, as soon as I read that, I thought I could see people just going running into the middle of things, going boom.
Yeah, it used to be. It was like 1d6, 1d8, 1d10 is what the old numbers used to be. And so he was like, "Oh man, my odds of being able to soak X amount of damage, And he did fast calculations, and then he was like, "Yeah, I'll see what I can do." And so we're like, "Okay, let's fix this."
Yeah,
so I mean, it's still something they could do, but 2d12 is bad.
Yeah, but if you've got a high vigor mage with a low willpower, perfect. Hope you roll well on your d10. A really tanky wizard, and you just run in and mess up your spellcasting.
Yeah, it's perfect. We call him the nuke. Why? Well, we keep him locked up until he gets out there.
Of the party.
Yes, I do like the picture below as well. I think that's really cool.
I do.
Yeah, that's the event of what it goes bad, and for those that aren't clear, the close, near, far is really similar to
Shadow Dark's.
Shadow Dark, yeah. I had the name and it fell out, but yeah, really close to basically the same thing.
Yeah,
cool.
It's amazing how just using that takes it makes the understanding of distances far easier than actually using distances. It's easy for someone to imagine, you're near. And they get this conjurer. I take it your near is probably 100 feet.
No,
30.
So we actually have that's up here at the start.
Yeah, close with like within 5 feet and everything.
Yeah,
it is. I need the guts of combat. There. So close is
the
colonial feet.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that. We had fun with this. Yeah, let him breathe.
Yeah, it's 6 feet, 30 feet, 120 feet,
and then 60 up to 30, and then up to 120. Brilliant.
Yep.
That's nice. I like that. What's the
brother? Tell them about the colonial feet.
I want to know about the colonial feet.
So we were trying to figure out what system to go with, because we were like, feet or meters. Do we want to use metric or standard? And we're like, you know what? We'll just make something up that's kind of somewhere in between. So a colonial foot's a standard foot, but it is in the world of Yogath. It is based off of the one standard imperial potato.
They're real big on the potatoes when they came to Yogath.
When they came to Yogath, and a potato was about a foot, so they would use that.
Big potatoes.
And so they use that as
Can you imagine the chips?
Oh yeah.
so they use that as their standard measuring, and then over time after they've colonized, it became the colonial foot instead of the imperial potato.
Fantastic.
That's cool. I love some of these nuggets of your of your lore as we're going through. It's just superb.
Yep. I'm just having a look at your status effects, and you've got a nice list. Frost. Burr, I am now cold. -2 agility.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Under spellcasting, right? For the let's have a look. Journeyman and master spellcasting, you had something called success levels, needing 1 and 2 success levels. What are a success level?
You want to take it, or you want me to?
Sorry, 2 and 4. It's 2 and 4 you need. Yeah.
Yep. So your success levels, especially here. So a success level, is if you, when you're rolling, obviously we roll under. So it's by how far you're rolling under. So a success level of 1 is, I've rolled under by 1 or 2 or up to 4.
That makes it a lot easier to do opposed rolls, because you're using one terminology, which is whoever's got the greatest success level wins, unless it's a tie, in which case defender wins.
Right.
In your case,
and the same for failure levels too. It's the same in the opposite direction. For this, when they're learning, their schools of magic, say, if I wanted to learn, it was my first school of magic, and I've, taken, I'm like, hey, I want to do conjuring as an arcane one. And I go to learn it. In order to learn that spell, even after I've paid the XP for it, I have to pass a wit check, which is my intelligence, my ability to do it. So if I fail, it doesn't mean that I wasted my XP. I just have to wait, and then I can do it again. To try and learn it. But from my second school, now it's taking more brain power. You have to, there's a lot more going on. So I have to pass by 2 success levels now. Yeah. And then obviously for the third one, I have to pass by 4.
Yeah. And I was going to say, with magic is the mage casters and spellcasters, all that. They are unique in Mercs, Mages, and Monsters, in that they're the only group that can learn a knack, or in this case, spell, outside of the typical XP loop, because you can find or acquire spells, like in a book, something like that. Find them out when you're, completing a contract, but oh no, this noble seems to have a library. He doesn't need that.
Yeah, have a good library.
But that's no different to a fighter or warrior finding a weapon that has a special ability or something like that.
Yeah. So if they find something that's cool, then they get their thing, and these guys, they would be able to get that, and then they would learn it just as they would here. They would have to sit there and meditate on it and try to learn it, and it's not like it turns to ash when they fail. They're just like, well, I guess I'm going to go back and practice reading comprehension tomorrow and try to get it right.
Okay. And looking at this,
read of Iron Pan, you can ask a question.
Yeah, I'm just before we move on here. It's you got first, second, and third schools of magic, and apprentice, journeyman, and master. Does that mean there's effectively 9 levels of magic?
No, no, it's the same 3 levels of apprentice, journeyman, and master. It just is our schools are arcane, growth, and decay. So if you're focusing in arcane magic, that's your first school, and you can be an apprentice, a journeyman, a master in that one. And then your second school, you pick growth. Then you could be an apprentice in this spell. And it's like everything else. You could be an apprentice in one spell and a master in another spell.
Yeah. So this is the spell school you have. So the more spell schools you have, the second, and if you get the third, they become more costly to learn.
Yeah. If you want to learn something
difficult
outside
to learn
of it
as well. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Do those success levels also carry through to casting?
No.
No. So when it comes to casting it, you haven't got any penalties. A spell is a spell.
It's just
learning.
Whatever the apprentice, journeyman, master, like wherever for the spell, it's just the initial onboarding,
learning of it.
Learning it.
Fantastic. That's a nice way. If you want to be broad, it's going to cost you. You're going to slow down your advancement. You're not going to be a specialized, as you say. It's that jack of all trades. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, Vicky, you wanted to see a saucepan or an iron pan.
Read Iron Pan, please. We want to have a look at that spell. That picture earlier, I just want to read it.
It's the one right here in the bottom left.
Okay, so it's a near spell. Does a 1d6 damage. One of the very few spells not invoked through hand movements, but instead invoked through shouting, "I cast Iron Pan." A cast iron pan is summoned from somewhere in the world. Does that mean it could have bacon in it?
Yes.
Yes.
And thrown at the caster's target from a random direction. Contents and conditions of the pan vary. I love that. Only one pan can exist in the immediate area at any one point in time. Oh, I do love that. That's superb.
Does that mean if you cast it a second time, the first pan disappears back to where it came from?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So you could, in essence, cast this once, get a really fancy pan because some nobles' cast iron pans just disappeared, and decide never to cast it again, just so you can keep that pan.
Yeah.
And you can use it
that
as a melee weapon that does 1d6 damage.
Yeah, you would
Fantastic.
have this pan. I mean, the off chance, and then there's always the chance that someone somewhere else could cast, Iron Pan, and your
yours
beloved
takes your pan.
now disappears. I mean, you could
It
get
could
this
be
pan and it's
mid-cooking.
filled with bacon and everything else in mid pan,
Yep.
and it disappears. Like that poor fellow in the artwork previous. There could be sizzling bacon and grease and everything in that pan, and now you've hit this man with a hot pan and grease and bacon, and his day is ruined, and the bacon is ruined. Everything is ruined.
Oh yeah.
There was someone on our Discord suggested when they first saw Iron Pan, they suggested it has a partner spell, which we have not decided not to include yet. We just haven't included it yet, which is called I Cast Chamber Pot.
Not good. Not good.
All of the same. It summons a chamber pot from somewhere. So that was a suggestion from one of the people.
One of the
I
forbidden
don't know.
magics.
I think I quite like I cast hot iron. What do you reckon, Dean?
Yes. No, that's definitely not going in there.
Dean gets really touchy around hot irons.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's fantastic. I love that. Again, I love the tongue-in-cheek sort of nature of them. But you've also got some, all of the spells that are really interesting. Now, I did notice that you have teleport. You've got teleportation. So this brings me on to what some of the sort of spells like healing, teleportation, some of those that can be sometimes classed as world breaking because you no longer have to walk somewhere. But seeing your miscibility sort of table, I think teleportation could be quite dangerous. So
Yeah.
you've got
Can we have a look at the
magics and
teleportation spell?
teleportation?
It is. Where's it at? It's
Oh,
arcane.
there it is. It's there.
Caster chooses an ancient altar to teleport to. Caster must have physically visited the altar before. I like that as a restriction. All members attempting to teleport must do a willpower check. That's right. Is it willpower?
Willpower. Yes.
Yeah. If successful, they teleport. If unsuccessful, they are left behind and take a -2 willpower penalty for one game day. Oh, that means you've got your fighter, and if he wants to be teleported around, then they've got to pass the willpower. I love that because in one game, when I was playing 5th Ed, I became Uber. I spent my whole blooming time taking party members and moving them places. And there were so many different sort of teleportation. Literally, my whole gaming session was teleporting us to so-and-so, teleporting the party to where they could actually engage, and then sat at the back hoping I'm not going to get hit in the face. And I did joke at the time I'd become an Uber. I like the fact they have to all pass the willpower. I think that's phenomenal.
So we did
good job.
one of our play tests. This is the one you GM'd, Jeremy, where Frank was playing and Bibble was to make an appearance, and he wasn't there, and we teleported him in. Now, this was GM discretion on this. I was rolling for Bibble as me, and I got a critical fail. Past, I failed. It was either a 22 or a 24. I hit the max.
He maxed it out.
And instead of doing wild magic, what Jeremy did is allowed me to teleport. But I teleported into one of the NPCs that was there.
Oh.
So Bibble killed the NPC that was giving the quest to the or given the backstory of what they were there for, their contract. Bibble teleported into him and made him explode into the party.
Yeah, he was like the alderman or whatever that happened to be like telling them what was going on in this area in like mid thing, and Bibble just went popped into him. I was like,
so going with GM discretion, anything could have happened, but for the story's sake, magic has consequences. He teleported all right, but and
I like that.
And it was because it was a 24, which is the highest roll you can have, and it just went so bad. And that's just like it's specifically for combat. For like the combat stuff. With ours too, you have doubles, which if you roll doubles and like under when you're doing combat, it allows you to do inflict one of those
status effects.
Status effects, yeah. Thank you. I forgot the words. Inflict one of those status effects based on your weapon, and so you can do that. If you roll 3 1s, so nat 1s across the board, which we did testing and we looked at the statistics of, it's like a 1.5% chance.
Yep.
But you have a 1.5% chance to instantly kill the big boss if you get 3 1s on an attack.
Yep. It's an instant kill. No matter what you're fighting.
It doesn't matter what it is. Instant kill.
Yep. And if you get
get
24, then it's
on just
how bad it's going to happen to you.
Yeah, it's one of those where it's like, if you roll this, you really didn't want to.
Yep.
No.
It's a 1 in 512 chance of rolling all 3 1s. Yeah, which is a 0.1%, 1.9% chance.
Oh yeah.
It's so minuscule.
Not. Sat there with your calculator.
I did, because I'm a geek like that. I just wanted to know what the number was.
Just because I saw your guys' stream last week, or was it? It was earlier this week. Fall damage. Bring up the fall damage.
Oh yes.
Oh yes. Yeah. By the way, I like your meat shield spell as well.
Oh, meat shield.
I was looking at line rot as well. Some interesting spells.
So that's where are we at here? It is. Oh, I think it's right here. Excuse me, actually. There you go. Right there at the top. Fall damage.
Ah, yes.
It ignores armor. Short, 0 to 6 colonial feet. No damage. High, 6 to 30 colonial feet. 1d4 plus your height. Agility as a saving throw, which is hard. -2. Fatal, 30 to 120 colonial feet. 1d4 plus death. I love it. It's like, roll 1d4, but you're dead anyway. Agility is a saving throw. Really, 1d4 plus height, but we think we're funny. Surviving a 1d4 colonial feet fall isn't likely. Yeah. But it's like everything, you have that little chance, don't you? And that's what we were talking about on Destiny's Dispatch when we were talking about falling damage, is when we went through all the health and safety stats. You can die off of 6 foot, or you could potentially live off a 200-foot drop, but it's so small a chance. But I love that.
That's what I ended up doing. I looked at when Dean had said that, I'm like, that's what we did too. We just ended up, expressing it a little different. I'm like 100 views. Yep. Nope. Dead. Dead.
Yeah.
No.
And that's, I like the fact you've got weather effects. I like that because, and when we talk about Yoggoth a bit, I will ask you about some in the biomes and stuff, but I like the fact you've got weather effects because one of the things I found when I adventure, the journey is part and parcel of it. And therefore, weather is part and parcel for it. You know, we've all read different books, and we've all heard about when they've had to hide because of the, you know, the sandstorm or the blazing sun or the rain or the hail. Yeah, we've all read those books, and the fact that you've got them in here, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we weren't sure we were going to have weather. We went back and forth on it for a while, and we're like, you know what, we'll put it in, and we tried it out, and it seems like it works pretty good.
It's worth putting in, because there will be some tables who never use it, and that's fine. And then there'll be other tables who will be looking for it because they want that level of realism. In which case, they find it and they're happy. So.
Yeah, that's why we eventually were like, well, they could pull it from, you know, the other systems and general stat block books that have things like that, but just so it's like right there. Like a lot of our, what pages is it for? Yeah, a lot of our stat stuff we tried to put, especially this, it's on the character sheets as reminders, which we'll see later. But a lot of it we put close to the first few pages of the book, so you're not digging into the guts of the book trying to find these things. It's a lot of this is within like the first 10, 12 pages. It's right there.
Yeah,
so
lovely
for just ease of use.
I like that, because you've got all about travel, and you've got your horse and what distance they can travel.
Yeah, you can kill your horse.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes, talk to me about killing horses. I lost poor Inky.
During that adventure, they went through about 4 horses. One horse survived through everyone, and it had PTSD by the end because it had been attacked by a griffin but survived. It had been attacked by cultists. It had been attacked by these vines and assassins and all sorts. So at the very end,
come on, buddy, let's go outside. I don't want to go.
That horse will never step out of the barn again.
He never steps out of the stall. It's weird.
Yes. And he's just watching these new horses coming in and then being killed, and then a lot of horses come in, get killed.
Responds poorly to chickens. It's crazy. He just doesn't like the sound.
No.
Unhinged.
Before we move off spells, have you got anything in the way of healing magics?
We do. We do.
Yeah. It's under growth.
Yep. So it is nature's healing. As far as spells go, we also have items that can heal and stuff like that, you know, by the medic, or the not the medic, the nimble medic, or the stumbling medic using it. But as far as spells, nature's healing is, I believe, the only one we have. Well, and technically, nature's regrowth, growth spell regrowth is kind of a healing spell as well.
Yeah, because I noticed one of your conditions is like losing limbs.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And you can have an artificer make you a new arm or a new leg or something like that, you know, and it can be enchanted and have stats on it. But if you don't know one or can't afford that, you can have your mage make you a tree branch arm, and at least you have something.
Do you know?
I just read that, and I was just like, I was like, caster makes limbs regrow. Limbs regrown on creatures and people are functioning wooden prosthetics. This is brilliant.
I love the fact that people losing limbs is so commonplace that you have all these measures to combat it. It's like, oh no, he's lost an arm again. Right, let's grow him an arm.
And again, it falls back, like magic is one of those things. Like, yeah, they can do it, but
what's it worth to you?
But what's it worth? And is it worth it to the mage? Like, you know, he's like, yeah, you know, I can do it. There's a chance something could go wrong. It's like going to the doctor, and every time the doctor's like, we could explode today. You could get fixed. We could all die. You want to get healed? And they're like, I'm just going to walk this one off. It's fine.
Yeah. Fantastic. So, sorry, Vicky, you were going to jump in. Right. No. Right.
You can continue. Go on.
Sorry, I am stepping on your toes here, but I'm quite excited to know, and I'm hoping the answer is no. But can you raise the dead?
So we don't have it in here to like raise the dead. Like if somebody dies, to bring them back, we have the ability to do it through an alchemical thing. But as far as the spell, we have something that we might put it in when we go to launch. We hadn't ironed it out yet, but the cost of trying to raise somebody from the dead
was rough.
It's almost enough to make it so you don't do it. You're just, you know what, that guy's dead. We're just going to leave him dead.
Yeah. The party's going to look at it and go, this is like several contracts worth of payment. Nah, he's not.
Yeah, because
kind of like that. Yeah.
Kind of, yeah, because there's basically the spell itself, how we kind of had it was, and we kept going back and forth, and we didn't get it quite right, we don't think. But what would happen is they would try to raise them. That person is dead. Say you succeed, even on a success, like bare success. I think they had to be, if you succeeded by 5 levels or something, then there would be no ill effects. But anything below that success level, that character is coming back with negatives across all their traits, which we don't have anything else that's like a permanent negative across traits. And so they'd come back like -2, negative whatever. And that's the good side. Like, yeah, your character's back, but what was it worth? They were dead. They're coming back. Those are haunted individuals.
Yep. The bad side of it was
the bad side. Yeah, the bad side just gets either like the least of the bad side is this: they don't come back. Like, you failed.
Yeah. The worst of the bad side is you brought something else back in their place.
Yeah, you brought something back in them, and now you have like a weird reverend or some other sort of monstrosity that was not meant for this plane.
Yeah.
And and that's just for the undead person you now have trying to tear your group apart. Your mage has now already failed their casting, so now you're on the mishaps table for that. So it's a compounding. The undead is trying to kill you. Your mage is willpower, at the very least, is wiped out, or they've detonated, and it's a mastery level spell. So it's like it's just just bad.
Yeah,
it's not worth it.
I don't think bringing anyway. Why would you want to bring them back from the dead when you can use meat shield? I mean, seriously,
There you
can
go.
use meat shield, and I love this. Caster uses the nearest corpse or unconscious body to take the next hit. If an unconscious body is used, they receive the damage blocked. This is fantastic. I love that.
Yep.
Yeah, and then they're just the poor individual.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry, Bob's dead. Ooh.
Bob doesn't even have to be dead. Bob's just unconscious and happens to be the closest thing. He would want me to use his body to block this incoming damage. Thank you, Bob.
That actually brings me to a question I don't think we've asked. So we know that you die on 0. When do you go unconscious?
It's a stat. So
it's a stat thing,
it's a stat. You got to get. We don't have like, you're 3 HP, you're unconscious. It's if you've been, if you got the stat, if you got clocked in the head, and that's the status
or something.
Now you're unconscious.
So would certain weapons have that as a double ability? So
blunt weapons. And what happens when they get hit? Like on that blunt weapon, it would say. We could probably find one. I think it says that they have to make a vigor check in order to, like, if they're not, then they're, out or something.
Yeah.
And it doesn't show it on our weapons. It actually shows it as part of the
stat.
Which I think I bypassed it. There you are.
There we
go. So knocked prone or stunned, which is being unconscious, would be the closest thing if you're stunned, unable to move or anything like that, and that's blunt weapons.
-4. And there's the geek type.
I think Jeremy, your connection's going a bit in and out at the moment.
Yeah, you just kind of dogged on us.
Yeah, dogged.
Great. Not great. Let me know if it does that again.
You're stable now. Yeah.
Okay, good. At least my connection is stable. I don't know if I'm stable.
I think that goes for all of us in the TTRPG sort of.
But the alchemical thing that we have for resurrection or whatever. Have you guys seen The Princess Bride?
Yes.
Where they're almost dead.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I went too far. I went too far.
Yeah. We were inspired.
There it is. The mostly dead pill.
Yes. Mostly dead. That was it. They're mostly dead.
Yeah.
I love it.
So that's our way of, and the player has to be at 0, not like
No
past.
negatives.
It's exactly 0.
It's exactly 0.
And again, it's you got to have a lot of stuff to be able to do it.
So expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the fact that you've got chocolate in there. You've got to have chocolate.
No, it helps it go down.
Yeah.
Totally.
Covering helps it go down.
Absolutely. Yes, I like that. I like that a lot. Now, there's one spell type that we haven't covered.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have divinations?
No.
And that's the like ability to see the future type stuff.
Yeah, the sort of, good.
Yeah, we don't have those.
Nope.
Cool.
There's you'll never see what's coming.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. I love that. So far, I really like this. I've got my spells. I can do things. I can also mess up. So having a spellcaster along is good, but also a little bit dodgy.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that you wouldn't have people wanting to stand too close to you just in case.
No. You're like a necessary evil to bring on with some things, like super useful, but can explode.
Yep.
Yeah, I can imagine them treating you very carefully.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'd play a spellcaster in your system, though. I think it looks fab. I really do. It looks really good fun. Just for the pan spell alone, I want to do it. Oh, but then I want to have, because that's arcane, I think it was.
The basic is the Iron Pan. I think it's just
Iron
a basic
Pan's
spell.
basic.
Yeah,
It's basic.
Yeah. So
I need to
and the
get
basic ones, you don't take any penalties. If that wasn't clear, the basic stuff, you take no penalties for learning anybody from any of the classes can learn the basic stuff. It doesn't do anything.
So that's cool. So I could have that, and then I could also potentially go down the route that allows me to pick up a corpse and go, oh.
Yes,
Hello.
yes, you could.
The decay magic. Yep.
Decay magic. Yep.
Yep. So yeah, I think I'm sorted.
Perfect.
Stealing people's bacon and hiding behind corpses.
A paragon of society.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yes.
So if you're enjoying this interview, then do us a favor, like it, and don't forget to subscribe. And if you want to ask us anything or our guests, just pop something in the comments and we'll be sure to get back to you. All of this helps us with the algorithm and we'd really like your support. But now, Dean, I think you've got some more questions for our wonderful guests.
Yes, we're heading into the realm of gear, treasure, and how to carry it all. So the first question, nice and easy. Do you have an encumbrance system?
So we have slots is kind of how we did it. So how much you can carry is based on your vigor.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Nice.
Vigor's kind of an important stat.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's a very important. Yeah.
Yes, I can see that. So what happens? Do you have things like mounts and donkeys and stuff like that can help you if you need to have, something along to help you carry all your loot?
I mean, technically, I guess you could throw something on the horse, but we didn't throw anything in there.
No, we didn't. We didn't put any system in place for that.
I mean, you could get a bunch of goblins to pack some stuff, I guess, if you paid them.
Yeah.
Some other
Pack
an orc
goblins.
or two.
Yeah.
Instead of
Pack
pack
goblins.
mules, pack goblins. I like the thought of that.
I'm sure the Goblin Union wouldn't like that, but
No, the goblins trade in information. That's kind of their thing. Word would get around fast, and
Yeah.
then you wouldn't be getting around at all.
Exactly.
yes.
Yeah.
Or rather, you'll suddenly have all these goblin mules come along. And
Yeah.
then as you leave with all the treasure, they disappear off.
It's like,
Yep.
man, I really thought we made out of there with a lot more than we started with. No,
Yeah.
And where have 3 goblins gone? I'm sure we had
Yeah.
4. We've only got 1 left.
we
Where's Bill? I thought he was with us too.
we have a quote like that. There's a quote in the book that's like that. We have a quote for that. We have a quote for everything. But yeah,
Fantastic.
So that's good. So your encumbrance is based on your vigor.
Yeah.
So you are limited into what you can carry out of those dungeons.
So this is
Ooh,
our
your character
actual.
sheet.
Yep, this is our character sheet here. So you actually have as part of your inventory, though, your gold, silver, and copper pieces you're carrying, and then that's how many slots you have. And then at Vigor 11, you
can get-
unlock another one, and 14, 17, and 20.
Nice.
Excellent. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
It makes it easy to keep track of how much stuff you have, and you're not like, well, I have 8 million things in this bag. No, you just have what you can carry on you. You don't have to worry about the weight.
yeah. It kind of falls back to you're not an adventurer. You're a merc with a contract, and you're trying to get some stuff done. And you could technically like go back or have a place where you go back and offload the stuff at your guild hall or wherever, but.
Yeah. Does everything just take up 1 slot, or do some items take up more? Yeah.
Everything takes up 1 slot. Anything that you could carry, if they're like, I want this horse, then you better walk it, because it doesn't. You don't have a horse pocket.
Yeah. So if you find a grand piano, that obviously doesn't take up a slot.
No.
You're
You're going to need to figure out a system, and that kind of leads to the players coming up with ingenious ways to take care of things. Like, we're not trying to hamstring the players, but we're also don't want them to have to look at their character sheet for everything that they're doing.
Yeah.
Like, GM, can I do this? Can I do this? Well, tell me what your plan is, and then I can tell you, like, I want to do this, followed by description of action. Okay, cool. I like where you're going with that. Here's roles or what you need to do, instead of scan a sheet. Well, I can't do any of this because I don't have the skill. I'm like, no, come on, get in there. Make some choices.
It's always role play first, then decide what tests are required. Yeah.
Yeah, I did notice earlier on in your rules that you had a sort of instruction about using common sense, which I like. We've got something very similar in ours, which is, come on, guys. Apply a bit of common sense.
I think ours has something to the wording of, if you feel you're twisting the rules to do something you shouldn't be doing, stop. Don't be an idiot. Don't be a dick. Just stop it.
Yeah, perfect. I like that.
And that means because before we did our basic edition, I kind of went down the verbosity of 5th ed. So all the kind of wording, because you got rules lawyers and power gamers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it was horrible to write. It was just taking forever.
It's not fun either. It saps the soul out of it.
We didn't write it. We wrote it for players like us, that people that want to be at the table, that aren't like, well, how can I game the system to? Nah, man, get away from my table. Go, leave.
Yeah. It is, and common sense. It just has to be common sense. You can't rule everything. If you try to, you end up with so many words on a page that you lose the spirit of the game.
And it gets really convoluted real quick. Stuff buried in pages in one sentence somewhere, and it's like, where was that? And I'm like, all right, I don't care anymore. And then you end up house ruling a bunch of stuff anyway.
I must admit, I far prefer ours now. It's been sort of pared back. It's much better.
It looked amazing from what I saw on that last bit. So
thank you.
Thanks.
But we're talking about your game.
Yes,
that's the one we want to get into today.
Yes.
And so far, I am loving it. It's absolutely great. So we've talked about encumbrance.
Yeah.
So you're working for guilds. You're getting contracts. So what is your economy like in the world, in your world of Yogath? What I'm wondering is, your guilds get this big pot of money to go and do something, and they task you with going to achieve something, and they will pay you a portion of that. So how does all of that work with your world and the economy of that world?
So yeah, it's a gold, and a majority of it, at least for those that are doing well, merchants, things like that, the big ones, it's a gold and silver economy. And then depending on where you end up, if it's a small town, village, and something like that, it could go down into more of a bartering situation.
Yep.
And where you're just trading this for that or that for this. And we have the different cities that make up Yogath, if you want to throw that map up there, Ty. Those are a majority of that comes through clear. Yeah. So
that looks cool.
Penkaris, right there, like directly in the center above the map there. That's the capital. And then the two main trade cities are Fendon and False Sweep over there, just on the other side of that big river, running out to the ocean there. And it, like those bigger areas is where you're going to find the coin exchanges of sorts. And more so when you're dealing with the dwarves and that, because those fellas are always mining, and they're like, you're going to find they're not the sole miners and metalsmiths and stuff, but that's where you're going to find the best weapons and everything. It's like dwarven made or mastercraft and stuff. It's most likely going to be dwarven. It's also going to be heavy. Yeah. But you know, they'll make trades that route. But everybody else is pretty much doing a system of bartering and everything. Just because that's just how the money is concentrated. And it seemed to just make more sense. Like you imagine all these people, it's still a medieval thing, and I understand Rome and all that and historical, and you end up with coin purses and all that. I mean, if you look at the map and you look at the cities, you're like, yes, they've achieved a level of advancedness, but everybody's not packing around a leather pouch with all these coins.
Yeah.
Because that's heavy for one. And two, it's more so what they could produce on the land they have, and then the lords and stuff take a percentage of that, and the only money exchange really is in between the guilds. And you have like the merchant guilds, everything. You could come up with guild, the Hogfather. I don't know if you guys have seen that. It's like a Terry Pratchett book. Yeah. But okay, Hogfather. Yeah. So it's like, what is it? The main Morgpork, and the other one, I don't remember. The main city in that one, they're like, there's a guild for everything, and they have the Assassin's Guild. Well, in this, there's a guild for all sorts of stuff, and you are just one guild in like a pool of a bunch of mercenary guilds. It's not like one title mercenary guild. It's a bunch of mercenary guilds, and you're just like
one of them,
one in a city. And then there's trade guilds and that guilds. And right now, in the setting that they're in, they have a lot more power than they did because of events that kind of destabilized some stuff.
Okay, so
by the way, that map looks absolutely beautiful.
It does. Looks lovely.
I quite fancy popping up to Burrow Rock Canyon. Reckon that looks fun.
There in the northeast. Yes.
So a nice place to visit.
Good. The food's a little spicy. Yep. But they can take it. Good dwarven food. Yep. So
that looks awesome. It's really well done, and it's beautiful. Absolutely stunning.
There's feed the multiverse.
Yeah, feed the multiverse. She did an amazing job on it.
Fantastic job.
Yeah. She took what we gave her and just made it a lot better.
Yeah.
I'm super proud of it.
Excellent. I like it. So keeping with the economy, you're doing a contract. Roughly how much would you be paid for that contract?
So we have a baseline kind of in here. I want to say that it kind of says just, it's up to the GM is really what it is. That common sense again really applies. if 10 gold here, maybe 5 gold for depending on it, and then generally, at least in all the playtests we did, if you find some goodies during your contract, the guild need not know about it necessarily, or if you bring it back, you get a cut of it, but
Can you get into trouble for not telling the guild?
only if they find out about it.
Yeah. Because your reputation, like, we don't have a in the thing reputation system, but if you're using common sense and thinking about it and want to go, the things you do are going to affect everything around you. I mean, if you get a contract to go whack some noble because 2 nobles are having a fight and it was more public than it needed to be, like, hey, can you do it sly and maybe poison Noah's ale or something? Great. And you've popped that guy as he walks through something. You're like, not great. A little more formal than anticipated. That could have effects with who works with you potentially, or how open you are about this guild is in town. Why is this guild in town? Do I need to be cloak and dagger about this? I need to be like, no, we're with the spider monkeys or whatever you happen to name your guild, the crow feet or something. I don't know. But it really kind of just depends on payment or how difficult it is or what people seem is fair. And then obviously the guild members get some of that, but a majority of that they never see. It's just a amount that the guild has taken for the contract, and then they get like the little pittance at the end plus whatever they can carry, and no one finds out about.
Okay, so your characters are going to be pretty poor. The guild's going to get the majority of the wealth, short of anything you acquire whilst you're doing the contract.
Yeah, like they will get payment, but it's not like a really cash heavy thing where you're like, I got 900 gold coins or something.
Yeah,
that's not going to happen.
That's not happening.
The weapons are like 3 or 4 gold for some of the mastercrafted dwarven stuff. Majority, like we said earlier, the lords and merchant princes and those people, the merchant guilds, those are the ones that are going to have a majority of the coin and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's more rare for you to be walking around with your pockets filled with stuff.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, so let's move back to gear. And you've already mentioned mastercrafted weapons, and do you get mastercrafted armors? So what kind of grades, looking at weapons and armor, do you have when it comes to getting better quality weapons or armor?
So
he's bringing
jump down here to the armory.
I like the perspective on that picture, really do. He's done a really good job of that.
Our artists that we worked with were phenomenal. So for this weapon quality, it's poor common, well made, and masterworks. And that same thing applies to armor, I believe, as well.
Yeah, it's the same scale.
Yep. Yeah. So a masterwork tower shield would block 1d6 plus 4.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, fantastic. Have you got magic weapons and armor?
We have enchanted weapons. I don't believe. Well, there's enchanted armor that is basically like the enchanted armor is pretty much the like you get an extra arm or limb or something like that.
Yeah. So the artificer is really where you get some of your stuff. So as far as like magical weapons or armor, you get items that the artificer has imbued with the special qualities. I wouldn't go as far as to say they're magical, but they have magical qualities, I guess. Shock or fire, or frost, stuff like that they can apply to weapons.
Yeah, and I can see you've got materials in there, and you've got a sort of proc mechanic, which is roll a d10 on a 1, it applies the status.
Yes, yeah, because it's not a guaranteed. It's not a guaranteed thing. So you may gather stuff and it might work. It might not.
Yep.
So with materials, does that mean creatures defeated could be harvested for their materials?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Very nice.
Yep.
Okay,
And-
I'm beginning. And now, does that mean you've got an item creation system?
Yes.
Brilliant. Can we have a look at that?
Oh, let's
So,
flick.
so that's actually what part of this is you can we have apothecaries and we have artificers. So initially we did have other things, and we were like,
It was a lot more expanded. It was very like it was beyond the scope of what we wanted in complications, so we boiled it down.
And we don't need, because we had blacksmithing and we had like leatherworking, armor making, and we're like, you know what, we don't need all that. These are guys that are out here murking people,
and their guilds will have these things. They'll just go to those tradesmen for it.
So our main one is apothecary and artificer. And as an apothecary, you can make potions that for boosting, as we talked about before, artificially boosting your stats, your traits for a short period of time, but they always come with a
repercussion.
A repercussion.
I'm just looking at the goblin piss paste.
It usually catches people's attention. You're not the first one.
Yep.
Refined urine. Ugh.
Yes.
Yes.
That's the reaction we look for when we hope people read it and they're going through. That's what we thrive on.
We like to catch people off.
I'm going to read that out for our audience, just in case they can't peer at this. So I'm going to read two of these out. The first is refined urine, used as a crafting ingredient for apothecaries, created by boiling down urine, all forms except goblin. And then you have goblin piss paste, used as a crafting ingredient for apothecaries, created by boiling down to a paste, goblin urine. Mind the smell. It's brilliant.
I apologize. I need to go. We're in a tornado warning.
Oh,
no worries. I'm not
a
going
problem.
to stop you from disappearing off if you've got a tornado warning.
Yeah, get yourself safe.
Get yourself safe. Go on.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Ooh. Well, that's not great for him.
No,
he's had that. He's had that happen. He thought that was going to happen on another stream we were on too, and luckily it passed him. Let me see if I can bring up mine. He is the tech guy. I am not. So,
if you're not sure, you can pass it on to Dean, and Dean can do it. So.
No, it's okay. To be honest, right? I'm happy to just talk about the rest. There's just been so much brilliant. There. It has looked fantastic.
Yeah.
You said it was on Drive-Thru RPG.
It is, yeah. So it's on Drive-Thru, and there was a new. I don't know. We saw it on Blue Sky. I think it's like RPG something. I don't remember the link for it and everything, but it was some other little new selling format that popped up, and it's on there too. But if you just do either Bad Toad Games or Mercs, Mages, and Monsters, there's the Quick Start Guide, which has a little one-shot adventure in there, and that's free. That the Quick Start is, and then there's the core book on there for $10, I think, right now.
Fantastic. What we'll do is we'll put links in the description. So anybody who is interested, have a look at the description and follow the links. And yeah, that's right. We've just covered a little bit about magic items. So it sounds like you got enchanted gear, which sounds great. You got a lot of various other bits and pieces that we were looking at, potions to boost your attributes and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty, it's not super in depth. It'll say common, I believe it's common, advanced, whatever for the ingredients, because we had a whole ingredient tier list, and we're like, that is going to be problematic for what we are doing. And so it's just like usually three different ingredients and maybe some named items like the goblin piss paste or something like that. And it's just fun to say. And and a few of the other different things that pop up, and that allows people to craft like the enchanted items or go on bug hunts for like the dragon beetle. They need an organ or something from the dragon beetle, and it's all just pretty basic but pretty fun, but gets the point across like, we need to go get these items, these things, this, that, for like masterwork items primarily is where it comes into play for like the enchanted or the different apothecaries for either healing, elixirs for boosting stuff, or the poisons. So
the apothecary and the artificer, are they? I'm just having a look. Are they knacks that players can take, or are they kind of classes that are?
They're a knack.
Right.
So yeah, like with the mage, you got what apprentice, apothecary is there, and then artificer, same
brilliant.
thing. Yeah.
So you can have players who can then start to create your gear. I mean, you're not getting much in the way of pay, but if you're harvesting, if you come across a bunch of beetles, the apothecary in the party could go, look, guys, let me get some potions ready for the next contract.
Yeah, and then the way it works when they get into those, it's broke down depending on what you're building or what you're making. There's a time sink that goes into that, and for potions and stuff of that nature, it would break it down into, like, I believe it's 1d4, 1d6, and like 1d8 potions depending on how skilled you are, and you can make it in one sitting. And it doesn't mean that it's like once a day you get to sit down and craft these things with like a little kit or something like that. Unless you're in a city, then it's more time. You can use your free time or game time, however the table wants to do it. But they get those things set up, and you don't have someone sitting there like, well, I'm making more of these. I'm making more of these. Like, no, you set up shop, you tried, you made them, you have them now. Cool. And they're usually like, to picture, I think we listed in there, I'd have to look, but we mentioned it's not like the big potion bottles that people think of. Like, these are vials. Yeah. It's like vials of things to hold them, because those, you see those, you're like, I'm not packing
a big potion bottle like that. Yeah.
It's like, that's going to break in the bag. You need a vial and a little strap, and you roll it out. Kind of like League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. I think Jekyll and Hyde, how he has the little fold out and then has the vials in there of his medicine. It's something, a carrier like that.
Yeah. Does each potion take up a slot then?
Yeah, I think the way we have it set right now, word wise, it would kind of depend on your GM how they would want to carry it, because we have items in slots, but they're like, well, maybe a small item you could put 5 together or something of that nature. But we just
you could have an item like a bandolier. It holds X number of potions.
X number of things, and then that item would have those in there.
Yeah. Fantastic. I'm just wondering, have we covered gear at this point, do you think?
We mostly,
so, unless you've got something.
The only thing I think we didn't cover, because you talked about the gear, the quality. They're with the gear, like light, they come in 3 classes: light, medium, and heavy, which I don't think we went over. And then so it's just light, medium, heavy, and then each of those have like a negative modifier that kind of goes with your agility. Like light doesn't have any, medium is like -1, and heavy is -2 or -4 for heavy. And it just kind of depends. That can change a little bit with like a mastercraft stuff. It reduces it some, but it made sense to us. Like, you may be in this heavy plate or heavy something like that. It may be a little harder to move around unless it's made just for you. So you can tank more damage potentially, but you're also not moving as fast. So, do I want to get out of the way, or do I want to be able to tank a blow and keep going?
Yeah.
It's kind of the mindset behind some of that. But again, it just boils down to, as we did with a lot of things, it's like on a scale of 1 to 3. So it's like apprentice, journeyman, master, poor, common, well-made, masterwork. And then rule of 3 or 4 is kind of how we did a lot of it, because we had a lot more complicated stuff. And then he said, Jeremy, scope keep. And so I had to wind it back, because I'd be the one that would wake up and be like, yo, it's 10:30, write a bunch of stuff down and then send a text message or something. So
yeah.
I can get that. I'm the one who has to rein Dean in at times. And Dean has to be to all my stuff. So it's a fine balance, isn't it, Dean?
It is. Do you know what? Because you need to have that level of choice, but you don't want too much. You don't want too much complexity. And we went through a lot of play testing. You're looking at, okay, this is a complex thing. It's taking a bit of time at the table. How much value does it add to the table? How much value does it add to the game? Do you know what? It's not adding very little value. Get rid of it.
That's why we got rid of a lot of the crafting stuff, because like really who's going to use all of this in the middle of contracts and everything else when they can just purchase the items and everything, aside from maybe the enchanting of stuff that they can acquire.
Yeah.
or the making of potions with stuff they can grab. And we're like, yeah, those two things make sense.
Yeah.
So
excellent. Shall we move on to creatures?
yeah, let's
I
do it.
think we should.
Oh yeah, yes. I'm wondering whether this might be a good one to potentially share, so we can have a look at your creature stat
Yeah, let
block.
me.
That's okay. There should be a share button.
Yeah, I see it here. I'm just making sure. Which one? Core rulebook.
It's, yeah, my share button's moved again.
Yeah, my share button's moved as well. I don't
know
understand Restream.
Can you guys see that? I think I hit share.
Yep, brilliant.
There you go.
Okay.
There it goes.
It's not as fantastic as the one he grabbed, but we will see.
Perfectly
here.
fine.
Absolutely.
That's the city lore. Oh, creatures. Okay.
Ooh,
So yeah,
that's a
our-
nice picture. That's
The
lovely.
The uncouth, unkempt, and untamed. That's what we deemed the creatures section.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yogath tis no petting zoo.
Yes.
But yeah, ask away. What do you wish to know about the creatures?
Okay, so what does a creature look like? Could you show us or take us through a basic creature, something a bit of a threat,
Ooh,
but not
bush
too much?
spider.
Yeah,
Look,
actually,
bush
spider.
The
Let's
bush
have a look
spider,
at a
yeah.
bush spider.
Yeah, there we go. So yeah, a creature's gonna have pretty much the same traits as a character. We thought about shaving some of them off because I mean they don't really need willpower in some of these, which is why they're basically at 8. But it breaks down to a simple block thing with some fun little flavor text so people get an idea. And now these are all just the baseline average size description of something. You can always raise, lower, depending on your GM and how big you want them. But since it's a spider, you know, good at attacking, you have low HP and natural defense is there. And then they have their little attacks and what they do. And you can use a dice system to figure out, because some of these have 4 different special abilities or just a basic attack. So a GM could potentially use a dice system if they wanted for more of a random assortment, or the GM could just be like, I'm using this or this or this with whatever they happen to be doing.
Yeah. And the bush spider, it's got a venomous bite, which is lovely, close to someone in melee. And it's also got bind, so that's webbing, I'm guessing.
Yeah. And so they'd be trapped, and in this thing, the target is entangled with a fine web. So they get a -2 to the precision and agility rolls until free. And in order to get free, they need to make a pretty much a hard vigor check to get out of the webbing.
Yeah, fantastic. So that's sorry, Henny. Yeah,
I was about to say I do like the description though, the fact that it sort of flattens itself and just lets sort of falls into the background, letting its bush just sort of wave in the wind there. That's a lovely description. I love the picture as well. It's awesome.
Yeah, a lot of our children, like my son and his daughter, since the son is only 8 months old and wasn't around at the time, they had an affinity for spiders and some other creatures, and some of them were like, "Oh, this is really good," and other stuff were like, "That's horrifying, even for us." We are not going to include that. So, but yeah.
Okay. We had. I'm just having a look. So yeah, Did you know what? That they're smart stat blocks, easy to understand.
Yeah.
Yep.
You can
Fantastic.
See lovely description.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was
tried.
Sorry.
Go ahead. Sorry.
There was a creature that had, I think it was a beetle, one of the beetles that had a component used for item creation.
Yeah.
Could we have a look at that beetle? I think it was a fire beetle or something.
Yeah, this one, dragon beetle.
Dragon beetle. That's it.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
An aggressive and solitary creature. The dragon beetle is extremely territorial. It protects itself with its hard outer carapace that hides its bat-like wings. With its ability to breathe fire and being a smaller size, roughly I'm assuming that's one colonial foot tall.
Yeah.
It's one potato tall, 2 foot long and 1 foot wide, and about 10 to 15 pounds.
It's
It
dense.
prefers to hunt smaller game within tunnels, using its fire to clear them out. The rarely seen female dwells underground and is at least 5 pounds larger than the male. Juveniles have the potential to detonate themselves when trying to attack. Ooh, I get the impression that the women will be quite nasty to the blokes. Those dragon beetles. Yes.
Yeah, you're walking along and you hear a poof under the ground. You're like, mating season for the dragon beetle. Yeah, we got that little quote there that those tracks are human. Those are orc. Those are a dragon beetle, and they look very fresh. Oh no. Last word, Forrest Littlestein, academic.
Yes.
Lovely.
That's great. That's great. So the one thing I note is it doesn't say on there that there's an ingredient that can be.
No, it doesn't list it on the dragon beetle itself. It's more just in the potion tonic, like that section.
I quite like that because you're relying on the player turning around and saying, look, I'm an apothecary and I know we can harvest this off the beetle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you go,
and then turning around going, can I harvest this off the beetle? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And then they would, make an attempt to do so. And, use your wit and what you think you need to do and harvest, said deal there.
Cool.
Fantastic. Yeah. So of course, is there any gauge to say at a glance how powerful a creature is?
We don't have one really. Like at a glance, you're looking more at the two stats I would say that someone should look at if they were trying to gauge would be what's its health. Well, we'll say 3: health, natural defense, and what its precision is. So how likely it is to hit you.
Yeah.
And then some of the little things, just reading up on them, and that's one of those things when we were doing it, we were trying to think: should there be a gauge? Should there not be a gauge? Do we want players to? Because there are the people that will try to metagame really hard and go, well, this is level 2, this is that. This is like GM discretion. We have it in the beginning of the book. The common sense player's first rule is like don't die and everything. You don't have to fight everything. And I've butchered what's in the beginning, but that's pretty much it. And so when you're looking at stuff, you're just looking mainly at the natural defense, the health, and how likely it is to hit you. And then read the descriptions, and players will learn about these things as they go. And like I said before, some of these, or like it says, even like right up here. No, there's the quote. We'll get into that. The included attributes are a starting point. Adjust them as you see fit for your guild members, or roll a 1d4 to select a monster attack when applicable, or choose one at your leisure. And then we have just, some other basic notes, but here, creatures that dwell within the kingdom of Yogath and no doubt beyond its borders come in a variety of horrible shapes and sizes. Many of these beasts and even some of the people would love nothing more than to feast upon the unfortunate member that has strayed too far from the beaten path. And so, there's kind of an implied sense of danger for every creature. And so to say, well, this one's not a big threat, this one is a big threat, everything is a threat. You're out there. In enough numbers, they're all bad.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. It comes down to if you're putting an encounter together, what is balance? Because there's so many factors, so many variables that balance is difficult to...
It really is. And we state in some of it, it's unbalanced. It's not meant to be. Obviously you have a starting group of, we'll say 4 players. You don't send them against, I wouldn't send them. I might send a dire cave bear at them, like 1, but that's with nothing else, just that. Because it can charge and tackle them, bite, they bleed. There's a lot of stuff that can go horribly wrong for a party.
Yeah. And it does a lot of damage, a D10 plus 2.
And with that, some I know some people out there, they like, well, it does 1d10 and there's no modifiers to that. But with the natural defense system and the ND and stuff that we have, that's going to get absorbed, and so this is basically designed to take 2 of that. So, okay, it's going to eat 2 of your natural defense already. And then the 1d10 can be really rolly depending on the dice. And so we wanted there to always be a guaranteed potential threat of something happening, and said, well, I can take all of it. No, you can't.
Do you have a creature that has armor? So I'm just curious as to how that's represented on the
no. All of the creatures. The only creature that'll have armor. There's a hob rabbit.
That's brilliant.
We'll come back to the hob rabbit if you want to look at it. The only ones that'll have, there's the regal toad.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, the only creatures that'll have armor, which I think we just mentioned, the Ogathan drop bear. It's just like I look back at them and they're all fun. Will be like the right. The right has armor. They'll have their natural defense, and then it'll say medium armor. Every weapon. It's noted in the block if they're going to be something that wears armor. It's mainly humanoid or orcanoid, something like that. It'll be one of the other player character types that can wear armor, but any of the animals themselves won't be wearing any.
Yes, so you had a bandit leader there, Bandit, which will probably have armor, but then, if it's medium armor, I believe that was a D6, I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah, and it says in here kind of, whatever weapon, they can wear stuff light, medium, heavy, what it does, armor quality. And so it kind of denotes and leaves up to the GM what they want to do, but it gives them all the information they need to get it out ahead. Like if they want them to talk or have something like that, and like their willpower is pretty low, but their wit and everything, most of those stats for a lot of the occasions, if you just want one of those encounters where, no, this is just a poke, stab, bleed encounter, you don't need to use a lot of that, but it's there depending on the type of encounter you're going for.
Yeah, I do like it. I think that's clean, easy to understand. What would you consider your most unusual creature?
Oh, unusual. Yeah, maybe the hob rabbit.
Let's have a look at the hob rabbit.
Yeah, let's go back to that. The silk. We'll come to the silk sheep next because that's probably one of the other most unusual ones. And that's his daughter came up with the silk sheep.
Oh, cool.
Hob rabbit.
All right.
Yeah.
Named for the mage that discovered. She insisted she didn't create them. The rabbit. The rabbit. They sit upright, balancing on their large back feet, immediately recognizable by the subnormally large eyes and vacant expression. Its front legs are more like skinny arms, complete with hands that are very adept at taking whatever interests them. Their general thievery and vacant stare tends to drive people to slapping them. This action has been noted as causing a unique noise, as if the head itself is hollow, which seems to attract all hob rabbits within hearing distance. It's worth noting that they do have claws on hands and feet, and whilst they're not very long, they are quite sturdy and sharp. Height 1 to 3 feet, or 1 to 3 potatoes. Weight 15 to 25 pounds.
Yep.
Brilliant.
I'm not doing bad considering I'm as blind as a bat and it's quite small on the screen.
Yeah,
I know.
And let me.
Hey, look at that.
Look at that.
I can read.
I know. So can I. Look at it.
I love the picture as well. You've certainly got the vacant stare, haven't you?
Oh, yeah.
And those skinny little arms.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you ever look up like the jackrabbit, the American jackrabbit standing up kind of a thing.
Yeah.
We took that and then just made it wrong.
Yes.
Oh, that's just cool.
Mm-hmm. And then, silk. Where's that? There's the regal silk sheep.
So silk sheep are about a foot long, have 9 eyes, 10 legs, 5 on each side, and produce durable silk that is stored in a removable sack on their backs. Once the sack is removed, another will grow back and fill with silk. The elves farm these creatures for the silk and use it to make a variety of items. Make no mistake, the silk sheep is venomous and must be handled carefully.
Mm-hmm.
So Ty's daughter came up with that.
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant.
Yeah, she came up with she came up with the name and then like described it somewhat to him, and then we had to write that down. We're like, that sounds horrifying. We can work with that. And then it came up with the wording and stuff for it, but it was one of those what was it, trap rock spider, wood wraith. This is probably one of the most, if this and I think the lesser churn beast are probably the most dangerous creatures solo in the entire game as we have right now.
Covered in bees. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
I've just read that. I'm going to read it out. Infested wood wraith. These abominations exist only because of a rogue elvish mage. By luck alone, they are quite rare, found in deeply wooded areas. They are capable of unleashing swarm of bees on those that venture nearby. If the swarm doesn't get you, the wraith itself will. That is brilliant. Yeah, that's quite scary.
Between its natural defense and the hit points on it, plus just the skills it has, it's a gnarly thing to have to deal with, and I wouldn't advise it.
And
just fire and something, it's bad.
Yeah, looking at the picture, you've got the clawy branches. Mm-hmm. It's like, it's really scary.
Yeah, it's just looking at the covered in bees. I take it there's no attribute listed, so I believe the default was precision.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you make a precision check, and for every success level, you have a D4 damage up to 3d4. Wow.
Yeah, up to 3. So successful 3, and that's bad.
Yeah, but if you roll a 10 on your D8s or lower, it's the maximum damage for those bees.
Yep, and they could take up, and they could take up to, they would roll the 3d4s, and so it's up to 12 damage.
Yeah,
that they could take, and it's
can all damage be mitigated with your natural defense and armor?
Yeah. There are certain, except for fall damage.
Fall damage.
And then I believe there's charm spells that wouldn't do that, and there's a couple under interests, but a majority of it will be mitigated by natural defense and armor.
Yeah. So. Fantastic. Yeah, they're suitably scary creatures. Thank you so much.
Very scary.
Yeah.
Yes.
And beautifully illustrated, I have to say.
Yeah, when we were describing them to the artists, we wanted it to be more like a field journal. Like you have these guys going out doing stuff, and so like you see in the older books when they're out looking or traveling, traversing areas, and they're doing these nature sketches, and then they might write something like Jane Goodall or something. The monkeys did this today or something, but I wandered into this sort of beast and I watched it eat 3 people. Let's not do that again. And we just ended up with all those different things, and we don't have art for all of it, obviously. One, because it's expensive.
Yeah.
That's probably the top reason. And 2, there was just some other stuff that seemed where it was either a lesser form of another creature or just let people's imaginations kind of go with it. And we may change that in the future, but for now, we're pretty sure it covers everything that we wanted it to cover.
That trap rock spider looks positively scary.
Yeah.
It is scary. Yeah. I wouldn't want to mess with those either.
No.
Everything that we have, I wouldn't want to mess with it. It's all bad. I was going to think. I was trying to think if we put armor on the rock trolls, but they're not. We didn't put any armor on them. It's just the natural stuff.
I have to say, I love the little connotations you've got with each of your creatures. They've all got something unique and interesting, which is just great.
We tried. it's hard to do, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Making creatures unique, and so it's not just copy paste. Creature bites, it attacks, it swipes, it tackles, it does something. Like, what makes this creature, and not just, change. This is a bear with different stats, or but good. I'm glad you guys appreciate that.
We do. It's hard work. It is hard work.
Yeah.
It taxes the brain, but in a good way.
Yeah. Right. To move on from, sorry, I've got a Maxine now who's her tail is all over the place. There we go. Go on, Max, over there.
I've got George.
You got a George.
George has been behaving. Yeah. He hasn't swiped at me at all today.
I know. So we've talked a lot about creatures. We've also talked a lot on and off about the setting. Had a look at that beautiful map. We've talked about the guilds and structure like that. Is there anything else about the setting you think listeners might want to know?
Yeah, let me find it. Did we bury it in the back? So we all don't get whiplash here.
It's like it's spinning.
Yeah, why is the world?
Ooh, that looks scary.
That does look scary.
Yeah, that is the chained one. He is. We don't have a lot about him in here. That's basically. I think he's mentioned in 2 other places, but he is a fallen god. He's the judge of the realm, but he is not judging anymore. Not at the moment. But if they want, like when we were talking about lore dumps and everything, sorry, I just heard either thunder or a very large explosion. The skies are completely clear, but it was, I don't know, not sure. My house still has power and we have internet, so it's good. But it was big. It rattled my roof.
We seem to have managed to roll on the weather table tonight.
We have.
Yeah. I just hope that Ty and his family managed to get to safety.
Oh,
I'm
sure I'll ping you guys afterwards with any updates on that.
Yeah, if you could, because
he appears to be fine. He hasn't sent me any updates. But for Yogath, this section here is probably the biggest. Yeah, really, this right here is just the biggest lore dump all in one spot that we have currently. Now, when we do other expansions and stuff in the future, there will be a little more, and there will probably always be a dump in the beginning of the book, and then peppered throughout the fun little nicks and knacks and stuff. But I'm trying to think. So if you don't mind, I'll just read through part of it or a section of it, if you don't mind.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, just looking at it, so because I can read quite quickly because I'm a sad and lonely individual. So basically, what I'm reading here is that it's very much a kingdom. So it's got kings and queens, and after hundreds of years, you've basically had your kings and queens. Time has fallen. It's hard times. So now what you've got is they've ruled for hundreds of years, and it's in their 116th year of age their health began to decline. Yes. So this is where you had a specific king and queen, and then there was a whole bunch of stuff where they tried to heal them and failed.
Yep.
Then this is where they got given concoctions by the physicians.
Yep. And it invigorated them and a few other things. It more or less they ended up stroking out, but in a euphoric kind of, they're happy and they stroked out. And then with their deaths, there was going to be a new king and queen, obviously, but the powers that be, the guilds, the consortium, which is like the shadowy Illuminati of this kingdom, moved to take out the heirs, destabilize them, and then put themselves in power. And they bungled that. They didn't all communicate with each other very well when they moved. So they got a majority of the most competent heirs out there and their extended families. But in the process, overlooked the youngest son because they all thought this guy has it. And they ended up whacking some of their own people in the process. And he just happened to be left when the dust cleared. And they went, oh, you know what? We may have screwed up. And so they ended up with the Mad Child King on the throne, who's now in charge of this kingdom, with knowing full well there's this shenaniganry taking place under his nose, and he's scared of hob rabbits. He's nuts. He's always having them checking the closets for him.
I'm scared of hob rabbits. I don't know about anybody else.
Yeah, understandably. I mean, no sane person wouldn't be scared of hob rabbits. But he has a protector, a warden that stands with him constantly, overlooks him. That's this fellow here. And as you can see, his cold, dead stares.
Yes.
Hob rabbit in the background.
Oh,
Nice. Oh, that poor hob rabbit. Oh.
Yeah, I know. The hob rabbit. He constantly kicked out of closets and cupboards.
Yeah.
But the kingdom is just in a state of flux, and that's why the guilds and everything have kind of moved up in power. They've kind of taken the place of the army, the royal army, who's stretched thin, trying to put out little fires. And so people are having shadow wars with one another while all this is going on, trying to get the upper hand, trying not to incite open rebellion and war. And we just kind of see how it goes from there. And that's kind of where the players, the members, drop into this. And it could be 6 months, a year, kind of depends on the GM and where they want to put it in.
Yeah. So the GM's got a sandbox effectively to mold to their play style, to run the game that they want. There's a certain style. It's based on guilds and contracts and fulfilling those contracts. But as much politics or as little politics as they want to put in. So it could just be that they want to run a game where you just do contracts, nice and simple, treasure hunting or something like that, or where some GMs might want the full political structure, and you've given them enough here for them to kind of pull stuff together and then create as deep a political intrigue game as they want.
Yes,
I just want to finish reading that. Could you just scroll down a tiny bit? Because I'm seeing, because of this world.
Word is beginning to Dean here.
No, talking to you. Because of this, word is beginning to spread in the kingdom for strange magic and its shadowy practitioners. Oh, I like that.
Mm. Yeah, a lot of little threads here and there for GMs to play with.
Do.
Yeah,
there's plenty to keep you.
Yeah, we wanted to basically build a sandbox, powder kegs, all the fireworks, everything, and then let them go and have fun with it. We didn't want to fill in every crack and seam and everything because, one, when I GM, I like having some freedom to fill in my own cracks and stuff. Like when I GM for Dark Heresy, like the second edition, there's enough lore there for me to work with, but there's also so many gray spots and gaps where I can fill in and mix and match. And I like the Warhammer universe in itself. And so we try to emulate that to some degree with this. And it gives us places we can expand to in the future without taking away the need for the GM to use their imagination. And we're never going to fill all the gaps. And that's not what we plan to do. We plan to do bigger chunks that they can build around and use out of that toolbox.
But isn't that the beauty of creating an indie game? You are sowing the seeds. Oh, yeah. Isn't that something that all of us as GMs like? We like building our own lore in. We like expanding. And that's part and parcel of running a game. We all like using our imaginations, whether we're writing a game or running a game. Oh, yeah. I think that's what makes us all particularly bananas myself.
And as long as the players are having a good time with it, that's me and Ty, that's really all we want out of it, is for people to be able to take it, go play, ideally at a table. I mean, we designed it during COVID, but ideally we'd like people to be able to grab this, go down to the library or wherever, dining room, set it up, play it, have a great time. and just kind of bring the group together, give them something to rally around, and just you know, we were talking about it. If like 5 people had it, whatever, you have one GM, that's like already 20 people playing it. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah.
You know, if anybody, one person playing your game besides yourself, maddening, super exciting. 20 people, crazy. More people, you know, it's it just kind of fills you with this like, oh, look at what I built, and everybody's having fun with this toy. You know, that's just one of the biggest things. I know, it's crazy. It's crazy, and that people want to play it. You're like, what, really? No, but they're like, no, I want to play. You're like, okay, cool, have fun with that. It's just the craziest thing.
It looks like a great fun game. It looks like something I'd love to play. It really does. It calls out to me because it feels enjoyable. It feels fun, and I love your descriptions. I love everything. It's just really nicely put together. It's got those beautiful little tongue-in-cheek moments, but it's got thought throughout.
Yeah.
So I think that you've done an amazing job, Dean. I mean, you're the stats guy. You're the maths guy. What do you reckon?
I reckon the maths all checks out. As in, it's not one of to be honest, right? It's there is a design principle, which means your numbers keep getting bigger. And I, for one, grew tired of that design principle. Your system also throws that away, which is you're as powerful as you are, and you're going to get a little bit better. What's more important, though, is you're going to broaden your tools.
Yeah.
You're going to gain more tools. I'm trying to remember who was talking about it, but it's not all about the vertical power progression anymore. It's about the horizontal. Yeah. And you might have a slight bit of vertical, a couple of improvements here and there that indicate you can take more damage, deal more damage, but having more tools, more utilities, more things you can use in various situations, that I think is where you feel more powerful, more useful, and your characters grow. And I see plenty of that here, and I like it. I really do like it.
Good.
So, what does the future hold?
For now, we are, when I can get time away from work and I can get my brain kind of functioning, we are in the process of working on a contract module, which is going to have at least one full expanded contract in there. We'll throw some other lore in there. And the immediate thing is to get that completed and get it and a few other stuff and get the physical copy out there for people. That's after we get this next section in. We're probably going to reach out to some folks for editing. And we got someone in mind, but we'll probably reach out to them just because, as you already saw, we missed something. We've been through it.
Every time I go through ours, find something. I find something we've missed. It's normal.
Yeah, and we've been through this I don't know how many times. And so when we send out the physical copy, we want it to be like you guys have said when you keep going through yours. We want it to be something that someone can look at and be happy, proud to have everything, and don't feel like gypped, lied to. You know, it wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be more than the $10 digital copy, and we're still going to try to keep it as affordable as we can with how that works. But that's the immediate thing. And then there will probably be some realm and lore expansions that kind of cover some other stuff, and maybe a little more on the consortium or a little bit more stuff on the cities themselves and factions, some other stuff, you know, like that in the future. They just kind of rounded out a little bit some of the rough spots, and hopefully not a whole bunch of, we're trying to stay away from mechanic changes that you see drift between that creep. We're trying to keep that to a minimum, if at all, and just, you know, maybe refinement in words that clarify some things if there happens to be some discrepancies.
And I like that. That means that what you're doing is you're keeping with your edition. You're not then just going to go, we're going to do a new edition and change all the rules. What you're going to do is similar to your character progression. you are going to grow horizontally with
Yes.
more
Yeah.
things that you can do. And I think that's just a fantastic approach. I think that that's the way that you draw people in and you keep them on the journey, because they can expand what they're doing, they can expand where they're playing. And I think that is a lovely approach.
Thank you.
I'd just like to say to everybody, if you're watching this, there are details in the description of where you can get it. All right, so go and check it out, because it is a fantastic little game and it's had heart and soul poured into it. And with this, Jeremy, thank you very much for joining us. Again, Ty, thank you for joining us. I hope you are safe in your shelter, and we will talk to you again soon, I'm sure. Dean, thank you for putting up with me. And with that, we are going to call this Indie Game Spotlight to a close. Everybody who's watching, thank you so much. You are the people that make it worthwhile. You're the guys who go out and support these wonderful indie games that are out there. So we're all doing this because of you. So with that, thank you and goodbye.